Wah, wah.
There it is.
I like it. I like it at all.
Finish that off, big boy.
Good over there.
I want just a sip. I take some
I
juice.
love some rare berry. I got a little bit.
No, he's got Taylor in it.
Just go for it.
Don't mix it. Just put it in here.
Chug.
That's how I like my whiskey.
Yeah, drink it from the bottle again. Do it again. Do it again.
It's good stuff. I mean, the nose doesn't happen right out of the bottle, but
Mouse is not cooperating. Come on, Mouse. What'd I tell you? Thank you.
once you're about 4 fingers in, you don't care whether it's coming out of the bottle or not.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Are you
Yeah.
4 finger? Wait a minute.
Been there.
Oh my gosh.
4 finger. Doc is 4 fingers deep.
Okay, did we just hit on the potential title?
Yep. Episode
Right
name.
there. 4 fingers
Four
in.
fingers in.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to go a lot of directions. So.
Yeah. And we have a viable contender for most intelligent person on the
Yes,
podcast.
we do. Yes, we do.
So I am
Welcome-
so
Say that.
excited.
Don't
Welcome
say
to
that.
the show. Well, to listeners and to our buddy Zach Clevinger. You will be the second engineer we've had on the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the
welcome-
first?
Our
Uh,
family member, Chris Maurer from up in Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago.
he designs
Yes. He's a biomechanical engineer. He designs new body parts and prosthetics. Yeah.
Biomechanical engineering is a field that has really expanded over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's,
But you are a mechanical engineer. Okay.
Yep.
So if I need a new body part, I probably shouldn't call you.
I don't know. He could probably do it.
I mean, you could probably get it done.
I mean, those fields like cross each other.
They do. Yeah, biomechanical is really more on the medical side.
Yeah.
My specialty is more in, I'll say, the automotive industry. So, I mean, do you want me to go ahead and jump
But
into my background?
I mean,
or-
you could do it. You could design and make a leg.
Yes.
Yeah.
so if,
I have the skill set.
if we needed
Yeah.
you
If
in a
that's what I
pinch.
needed to do. Yes.
Oh, wait, is Savage Bro here? He's quiet over here.
Uh-huh.
You got redder. Is
That's
that
what
your,
happens when you go outside, bro.
Is that your Native American coming out?
Yep.
Oh,
That's
okay.
my Indian
That's your
coming
free
out
college
here.
coming out
That's
there.
right. That's right.
Gotcha. Too bad you never put that to use.
I know, right? I should. Totally
It's never
should.
too late.
Especially
never too
since
late.
I got screwed out of volleyball money. I should put it to use now.
Oh, man.
Oh. So Zach, tell
Yes.
us about yourself.
Cool.
Let's
Yeah.
get your background.
So, based here in Wise County, in Decatur to be specific. I've got a wife, Alexis. My son, Retford.
Wait a minute. Did you just say you had a wife and a car, or is that
I
your
do
wife's
not have.
name?
I do not have Alexis.
Oh, okay. I thought
My
you were
wife's
just naming
name is
random
Alexis.
stuff that you had.
Yeah, no. Yeah, going straight from the wife to the car.
To the car. Yeah.
No, I actually drive the complete antithesis of Alexis. I drive a 2005 Hyundai Elantra that has 250,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I've got 3 cars, and they combine for almost 600,000 miles.
Nice.
So, yep, and they're all paid for.
That's right.
That is,
Yeah,
that's
we truly
panic mode for me.
appreciate that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It's 100,000 miles. Get rid of it.
that's probably one of the quickest ways to tell you who I am is those 3 cars. But
Extremely practical.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
If you're a mechanical engineer, you can just build your own new part.
to a fault. That's how I live is practicality. So
I'll say the reason you're on here is because we've had several conversations and they border on some of the most interesting conversation that we have, you know. So
Yeah.
so it's
I think Doc's saying you and I are not stimulating.
I mean
That's
you're,
what he said.
we do not stimulate Doc.
no,
Hey,
you're y'all are stimulating.
we're already going in a great direction.
Yeah, I know, right? That's
I appreciate that. That's yeah, I'm a deep thinker, and there's not a lot of people that think the way that I do.
yeah, cool.
That's how it is.
That's
Yeah.
why you and Doc get along so well.
Yeah.
So this is going to be fun.
And that's partly why we already love you, because we know how to deal with you. We've learned how to deal with this guy over the past 12
Yeah.
years, so now we know how to deal with you.
He's the extrovert version. I'm the introvert version. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best to pull out the extroverted side here.
I'm
but
not sure I believe in that whole delineative bullcrap about introverts and extroverts. Like, everybody just has their moments, and then everybody wants to just sit on the couch. Like, come on, don't
Yeah, that's
don't give
complicated.
me a label. Don't give me a label. Anyways, back to Zach.
So are we diving into it now? Yeah, so I got to my wife.
Yes.
Alexis.
Retford is my son, who's 3.5. He'll be 4 in June. And then my daughter turns 1 at the end of the month. That's Brookley.
Nice.
And daughter's probably a good segue to kind of how we got to know each other.
Yeah, it should be stated that Zach and I are literally neighbors. He was like the last one to fill in the blank spot in our subdivision.
Yeah.
In our
He filled your hole.
If I remember correctly,
Zach filled my hole.
I was number 167 in the neighborhood of 173, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
I was in the last 10 or so.
I remember one of the first few times I'd met you before we really got acquainted. I was driving the old, the Dodge farm truck. The pieces are falling off of it. It's a farm truck, right? It's rusted, dents, and headlights are all fogged up, paint's chipping, and the sun comes up, and he's like, "Your truck's really cool." I'm like, okay. Zach comes up, he's like, "He just really loves your truck." So
That's awesome.
all right.
Well, and
and
just the fact that y'all talk and hang out, as neighbors, is the neighborly thing coming back?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
Hope for humanity after all.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah. He really liked your boat too. That was the other thing.
Yeah. Sometimes no, I don't miss that thing at all. I don't miss the boat.
When we first moved in, he would sit at the window and just go, "Dad, look at that boat."
We had a lot of good times on it until it was just like, it's time to get rid of it.
It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, it was fun. There was one time we set up here. It wasn't even on the water. We just you three and I think Coco.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Wait. He's
The
got
other
a new,
one.
He's got the other bro.
The other one.
The other bro. He's got a new nickname now. Other bro. We just sat in the boat, smoke cigars.
Oh,
on
nice.
dry land.
And
I don't miss
Yep.
it.
Speaking of which, so I did bring you guys a little bit of a gift.
Oh my God! I like this trend that's going on with all of our. I feel like bona fide celebrity.
What I have, and I'll put it up for the
Holy crap.
camera.
What in the world?
These are called
a
leaf.
stick of dynamite?
Yeah, it is. It is.
does.
This is the fuse right there. No, these are cigars. It's called Leaf by Oscar. This is probably my favorite cigar that I've had because they wrap it in a tobacco leaf and it really keeps the juices in.
Okay.
So you keep it inside of a humidor. It really does a great job.
Underneath that is like the normal cigar.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So you don't smoke that.
No, you unwrap the leaf and so that's why it really keeps the juices in.
That's pretty
That's
genius.
pretty cool.
And how environmental.
Yeah.
Keeping the microplastics at bay.
Yep. Don't even have a
True
wrap of
story,
plastic.
right?
Can't pass that around.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
that's
So
cool.
I got one for each of y'all.
Awesome.
I thought it was just
This
going to be
is-
the one.
No, just
Like
one,
great,
and then you
man.
guys have to
Yeah,
split it.
we've
all got a
shared,
puff,
we've
pass.
done that before.
And then just
Won't be
one
the
other
last
thing.
time.
This is actually their 10th anniversary edition, which I just happened to find. It,
Nice.
got lucky.
Savage, you get the last one that
Dude, we're
everybody
gonna
said.
have to-
Everybody's touched,
Everybody
put
sniffed
their
it,
nose
touched
on
it.
it. And
Not to talk about next guest while we have the current guest on, but we'll have somebody we can ask about these
Nice.
yeah,
next week.
next week he's coming back.
Back. All right.
Man, that's cool. Thank you.
I
So
do
we've-
have
Well,
a
it smells
humidor
great.
if you guys want to put those back in it.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, keep it fresh.
Let's do that. I think at least 3 right here are all meeting up to play poker tomorrow night.
Yep.
Oh, you're coming too? Awesome.
I'll try to make it.
Am I coming too?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
That's great. No,
I've
that's
been
awesome.
trying to
try.
get him up there for like 3 months now.
I actually invited one of the guys from my work too, so we're all going to need to get there early because I think they
nice.
only have like 10 seats or
Yeah, is it
something.
limited?
Nah, there's
seating?
2 tables. We can,
There's 2 tables
Oh,
now.
okay.
Okay,
we had 12 people 2 Sundays ago. So
nice.
Ah.
That would be refreshing. I need to do that.
So what is your excuse that you can't tomorrow?
I think I should be able to.
Okay, there it
So
is,
it
folks.
Sounds like
You
a
heard it-
commitment.
heard
so
it on
in,
the
in
air.
other
Yeah.
words, I don't know. Let me translate. He's not coming.
In other words, his daughter will send us a text.
Yeah.
My dad wants you to know
He's
he
not
can't
coming.
make it.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! Not to get into my issues.
No, we're talking about
Yeah,
Zach's issues
that's
right
right.
now. Okay.
I got a lot of them.
All right. So we've got to know your family and where you live, and all right, and educational background, and where the hell you didn't start here. Where did you move here from?
Yeah, so I'm going to back up just slightly and then answer the question. So, well, my in-laws are here, so a lot of my wife's family is in the DFW area, but my parents are in North Carolina. So I was born in Ohio, and then grew up in North Carolina. I went to school in Arkansas, and so if you're following the map, I'm doing a little curve. I come to Texas, and I decided I'm going to stop here because if I go any farther, I'm going to end up in California, and we can't have that.
Yeah, you probably stopped in Texas in August, and you're like, man, it's hotter than hell here. I love it. This is the best time of year here.
No, that's just my little joke, but I tell it at parties. So mechanical engineering degree, I got that from Harding University in Arkansas.
Okay.
Small private Christian college. Was associated with the church that I grew up in, and so that's kind of how I found my way out there. From there, I graduated, got a job here in Texas, and I'm currently still at that same employer, but I've been there for about 8 years now.
Okay.
And then during that time period, since we're on my education, I also went back and got an MBA as well.
Nice.
Okay.
So that's
What does MBA stand for?
Yeah, it's Masters of Business Administration.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like useful stuff.
Yeah, so around 2 to 3 years into my job, I decided that I wanted to be more of a manager. I always describe it to people that I can understand the technical side of things, but I don't see that as my expertise. I see that my expertise is communicating between other like-minded people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You know, when we're talking emotions, I might not be the best, but when we're talking technicalities, I feel like I do a good job of seeing where people don't understand each other.
Yeah.
And that's a really critical role in a technical management position because there's so much opportunity for misunderstanding when you're talking about nitty-gritty, fine elements.
And
it's like when the cogs are not aligning.
You've got to be the guy that can rein that in.
Yep. And so, like I said, I can understand it, but I don't feel like I'm an expert in that field. I feel like I'm better in the communication side of it. So I decided to go the management route, and that's why I got my MBA.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now you're very, very hireable with those two things under your belt.
I am, but I love my job. Not looking to go anywhere. So.
Okay, so your job, we can't really state for non-disclosure purposes. But
yeah, that's fine.
I am bound by a policy, whereas if I were to mention the job, then I'm basically speaking on behalf of the company. And I don't want to do that. You know, these are my own thoughts tonight. And so
don't take the Whiskey Bros down with you, bro.
So you're an alignment specialist. So alignment being kind of a new term, you know, for the current age, but you see where things are not lining up with people and processes, and then you work to make sure everything aligns.
Yes, I had to listen to you there because I'm not good with new age terms.
Okay,
my vocabulary is still stuck in the 80s, but yes, I would say that that's an accurate description of what I do. I manage both a team that's doing development work for the future, but also managing current product that we're doing today.
Okay.
And so there's analytical skills that are required for both of those that are slightly different. But yeah, in a nutshell, we're taking issues that we find and then making tweaks, and then also planning for the future.
Man, that's so the future's happening faster and faster as time goes on.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight.
Okay, I like this.
Yeah, so after one of the,
I'm already just like bursting at the seams.
After one of the last, I guess it was the last episode.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I have so many things to rebuke against one. Well, we're going to talk about it tonight.
Love that.
I didn't say that I had so many things to rebuke.
Oh yes, you did.
I said I had one thing to rebuke against.
Okay, I love that. I do. I love that.
Back out now that you're on air.
Landing on the moon and how they got the video.
Yeah,
and then AI.
Okay,
but anyways, he wrote me. And he's like, I want to talk about these things. I'm like, when can I come on? I'm like, I don't know. Next week. Let's do it. So here he is. Here he is.
Yeah.
Well, we still want to talk about your background a little bit.
Oh, you didn't want me to dive into that yet. All right, that's just a teaser.
It's just a teaser.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
We have real important things to cover right now.
Yeah.
Before we get to the Looney Tunes part of it.
Last night, I did have some feedback as well, and we were unhinged last week.
Is that a complimentary feedback or derogatory?
I don't think
it was like expansive.
Yeah.
I think that it's a common question that a lot of people have these days. Slightly unfortunately, but I mean, and I don't say that to put anybody down. It's the lack of understanding of what can we believe, right? And there's people on both sides of the aisle that's where I feel like we all need to come together. Is we got to find something that unites us. And I know that sounds like BS, but
I don't think it is.
I don't
think it is at all. I think you're right.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
I think that's what we're doing because whiskey is the answer.
Obviously.
Whiskey is the answer.
Yeah, we can focus when we need to focus, but I'm trying to wonder how they meant by unhinged.
You're trying to wonder.
I'm wondering.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Let me do it in Savage Breath. Am I wondering?
Usually unhinged means
you got to put the S on there, bro.
like it lacks direction.
Yeah.
Or
But that's typically our MO when we're not.
Yeah,
when
we
we're without guests, right?
yeah, yeah.
So whoever that.
So they said we did us well.
Oh, then
last
yeah,
week.
that's the goal.
Yeah.
You got accused of being unhinged? Was that
No, that we are kind of
Okay,
unhinged,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
And that we did that well.
Okay. Do I know this person?
Oh yeah, as Amber, our practice manager.
Oh, okay. Oh, somebody's about to leave the building.
Let's go down that road.
I do got to say though that I do like your practice a lot, and we go
thanks.
to haven't actually been a client, but we go.
Well, don't be rude. I'm just saying.
We haven't been a client of you in particular, but we do go to the facility for.
Awesome.
I'll just say Megan.
Yeah, Megan is
fantastic.
an angel.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed.
No, she's awesome.
Awesome.
Did we cover? What would you say that? Okay, broadly speaking, since we can't really narrow it down and give away whom you work for, what would you broadly speaking say? This is what I do.
Dude, why does McDonald's care?
What?
Was I not supposed to say McDonald's? I'm sorry.
No, yeah. Oops, cat's out of the bag. Man, a lot of jokes that I chose to not say there for good reason. So I'm a design engineer. I started in 2015 in a design role.
Okay.
I will say that I work in the heavy duty transportation industry.
Yeah.
And so with that, I do work for a large company as well. I get exposure to a lot of information, and so a lot of that is just from the industry, but also some of it is internal, and so that's what I'm going to try to avoid talking about today. But the more expansive side of it, it's a very, very booming industry right now because of the economy's kind of on an upswing from a financial standpoint. Now, if we talk economics, we'll get into more of how that actually impacts the consumer. But from a numbers standpoint, the Dow Jones is at its record high right now,
Yeah.
and so a lot of people are buying goods, a lot of things are moving, and that's good for our industry.
Funny how that those indices always improve on an election year.
Yeah.
Just mysteriously always get better.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll see how that turns towards the end of the year.
Gas prices usually go down a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always funny how the politicians will say, it's not my responsibility. It's not my fault when the prices of gas are high and the indices are down. And then when they go up, they're like, look what my administration did.
Oh, yeah.
That's another topic for another
That
day.
is.
So to get back on it, so I'm a design engineer. I worked in that role, particularly actually doing CAD modeling design. So I figured that maybe people don't know what a design engineer does.
And tell everybody what CAD is for the people that aren't familiar.
Yeah. So that is computer aided design.
Okay.
It's basically 3D design in a computer space trying to simulate real world properties.
This is what would once be done on a big piece of charting paper is now done electronically. I'm
for
guessing.
the most part.
Okay.
We have computer software now. There's a lot of different popular ones. Basically, what you're doing is you're laying out the dimensions of whatever you're going to fabricate or create, and you're doing it in a 2D space. And then in that 2D space, you can do analysis like finite element analysis, which is breaking down. Like a best example that I have is a paper, right? I'm looking at a paper right now. It's very flexible. So that's going to have a very low rigidity factor, which is a word that I'm kind of making up. But a table, hardwood is going to be much harder, and then steel is going to be even harder than that. Well, finite element analysis will give you an estimate of, if I put 10 pounds on this, how much is it going to deflect? How much is it going to move up or down, depending on what the orientation is, versus if I'm using cardboard, it's going to obviously move a lot more, but it allows us to predict what's going to happen with given conditions.
And this can be a simulated test versus going out and doing it. Well, I'm guessing it still has to be done in the real world.
That's hard. That's hard.
Real world. That's almost hard.
Real world.
Yep.
Real world. And but you can really focus that down, I guess, to a production value once you've done this stuff with what's the word I'm looking for? Help me.
Yeah, with software.
Software.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you. God damn, software.
So
that you've done in software, you can really focus it down, and then you can take it and apply it in a physical world.
yes,
Okay.
Most organizations function the same way.
Mhm.
So you start off by designing on a computer. Well, you really start off with a concept. Like, what is your goal, right?
Okay.
If you just send engineers off in a direction and say, make that better, they're never going to stop working.
Okay.
Like they're going to just look for the theoretical limits of whatever is physically possible. You got to give them
that's a valid observation.
you got to give them a box to work within.
Okay.
I need this factor. I need this, all of these. Here's your specifications. So that's a pretty typical industry term is I need your techs. I need your technical specifications.
Yep.
And so that's your starting point of what goal you're trying to achieve. And that's why you have different people making those decisions of which direction you're going than the engineers because of that reason. So it's kind of a split point. But from there, you take your technical specifications and you start to turn it into CAD, 3D design. And then from there, you manufacture it, you do prototypes, you test it, and you sometimes have to go through more than one of those iterations before you finally get a product that can be delivered to the market.
Okay.
That is the design process.
So how do y'all take what he just talked about right there?
You're cutting out a lot of fat. You're trimming it down to a point where you're not spending countless amounts of dollars on days in the field researching and developing prototypes. You've taken 100 prototypes and narrowed it down to 5, and then you can test those out in a real 3-dimensional physical world within
it's like
the simulation that we live in. But
so
You said y'all. So what I got out of it is they're putting the crash test dummies out of a job.
well
No, you still got to use them.
No, we still do physical testing.
afterwards.
Yeah.
so
what do you mean by
whenever
afterwards?
Well, so the way I took that is it's less crash test dummies. Maybe like it don't take so many because of what you are able to do. Maybe
you're probably maybe somewhat correct.
he is very unhappy with whatever. I don't know. Just say what you want to say.
No, I was just saying, like, whenever I hear that, I hear that you think of something you need, and then you take that and you design it in a computer.
Right.
And the computer software is getting better and better over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. And then you actually can produce what that concept is, so then you can test it.
Yeah, I hear where both of you are coming from, and so I'm just going to respond with my thoughts because I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Amen.
But so we definitely are physically testing everything, and I say we as an engineering field, not just my company. But yes, there are certain things that you can evaluate in 2-dimensional space to at least limit down your test matrix. But it's important to make sure that you're still validating.
I'm thinking of stuff while you're talking.
It does help with efficiency.
What degree of accuracy is like taking something from the virtual software side with CAD, designing it in there, and how accurate is to what you think its performance is going to be from that simulated state into a production state physically? How closely do those two align?
I would say that from my experience, it's best to treat it as a direction.
Okay.
It's always best to do physical testing.
So you still got to get out in the field.
Yes.
And you still got to get your hands dirty.
Now, I think that we're going to get to a point in the near future where that, and I'm answering this based on orders of statistical magnitude. I feel like I have to put that out there for my own. For my own
we're moving
credibility.
fast as a technologic society.
Yeah, well, and I'm worried about making a claim that might not be true. But
does this involve AI?
No.
Hey, I'm going to tell you the secret to get past that. While you're on the air, if you do make a claim that's not maybe 100, just say it's a Whiskey Bro 100%.
Whiskey Bro 100%.
Whiskey Bro fact check.
Yep. 100%. And then you're safe after that.
We need to put a disclaimer on our podcast.
Yeah,
Right?
Anything the Whiskey Bros say or fact check is not truly fact checked.
I do think we're very close to a point where we are going to be able to simulate real life with what is called a 6 sigma factor of accuracy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
define that in dumb terms.
So I am a statistical nerd. That is one thing that even more so than I'm into calculus or physics, I'm probably more into statistics.
Okay.
So in statistics, there's a concept called a normal curve. And the most recognizable example that I can think of, and I think this is what they use in textbooks, is rolling a dice. Yep. And so if you roll a 6-sided die, you're really not going to get much variation. The probability distribution actually looks like a rectangle. There's a 6th chance of rolling each of the numbers.
Yeah.
If you roll 2 dice, you now have a normal distribution. And what that means is that your highest, now off the cuff, I'm not remembering which one is your most common combination, but I think it's somewhere around like 8 or 9. But because you have 2 numbers being combined together, so if you're looking at the sum of those,
right,
the highest likelihood is that you're going to get a number that's in the middle of that distribution.
This is so interesting. And so it's like you're 3-4 and you're like 7-8.
Exactly.
Or 8-9.
Yeah. So 3-4 would probably, I think 7 is actually the most, now that you're saying that, the most common.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit of nerves here, but.
Yeah, but you go from a 6, what'd you say, 6 degree like factor?
So you go from what is it's called a uniform distribution.
Yeah.
So it looks like a rectangle, to you go to a curved distribution.
That is
all right. So what does
really
this mean?
Interesting.
What does this mean for the common Joe?
Yeah, or what does it mean?
So the statistical likelihood of rolling a 7 is probably somewhere in the order of, well, it would be, I'm going to roughly say 40%.
Okay.
We can check that afterwards. Whereas the statistical probability of rolling a combination of a 2 or a 12 is much more like 3%.
So how does this apply to what you're talking about being simulated?
So
software technical accuracy.
So when you divide a normal curve, so I'm going to actually draw one here because visual representations,
I love this.
I believe, go a long way.
This is why we have cameras, folks.
All right. So normal curves look like this.
That looks like a boob.
That's a Bell-Gaussian curve.
All right. And let's say that you have something like, I don't know what a Bell-Gaussian curve is.
That's a
damn. You stumped him.
He did.
Okay.
That's like the first.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know everything. That's
who does?
there's
right?
a lot more
Knowledge is limiting.
There's a lot more that I don't know than what I do know. So what I'm drawing right now are called standard deviations. And so I'm going to put this up on the screen in just a second.
Okay.
We'll call this your average. So I don't know if you can see that.
Take it up.
Up. There
right.
you go.
Yep.
There you go.
There? Okay.
Yeah.
So right there in the middle is the average, and then I have these lines. So I'm going to say that's a 1, that's a 1, and then we're going to call this a 2, that's a 2, and I need one more line. We'll call that a 3. So use my chicken scratch. Make sure I'm good again.
Up.
There
you go.
Okay.
Bingo.
So the middle is the average. The 1 on each side is the first standard deviation or the first sigma.
Okay.
Everything within those 2 bars accounts for, I believe, 33% of the total possible population.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
You follow that?
Yep.
Okay.
I think so.
Yep.
So weight, human weight can be distributed in a normal curve. So if you take all people, they would be within whatever the bounds of the first standard deviation. If you go to the second, I think that takes it up to, I don't remember what the exact numbers are, but by the time that you get to the third standard deviation, you're at 99.7% of the entire possible population.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
6 sigma, which is what I mentioned as our quality standard earlier, is, I want to say, 1 in a million.
I thought that was a fraternity in a college.
I gather. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like being so accurate that you're like your error is small. So basically, it's like your chance for error is 0.00001.
Yes, in a sense, yes, that's it.
Wow.
So this is your hypothesis of a computer simulated reality.
This is my. How do we even get down this road?
I know, right?
It just happens.
This is exactly what we do.
So,
yes.
no, this is Yeah, it's basically we're not going to get to the point where we're, and I say we as a society, not as a society transitioning away from doing physical testing. I don't personally think we should ever get away from physical testing, but we will get to a point where we can say that with 99.5% confidence, because that is a typical, or 95% confidence. Is the typical metric that engineering and even I think doctors actually typically go more to like 99%. But with 95% confidence, we're going to say that we're not going to experience a defect within 999,000 out of a million.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore,
right?
And so in a sense, you are saying that the machine modeling of reality is
virtually perfect.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It is. And we're getting to the point now where we're jumping down the list here a little bit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Simplifying that, I've been listening to a podcast called Mind Matters, and they've had this huge, and it's a professor out of Baylor, I believe.
I've not listened to this.
Fantastic show.
Yeah.
They've had this huge segment on fine-tuning and its application to life and reality, and like how none of this really works without some sort fine-tuning.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about.
Are
we still talking about trucks?
No, I that'll always be like reality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I guess so. Anyways.
Did you have more questions about, what a design engineer does?
Oh, no.
Okay.
None that I don't think I can understand the answer.
It's good to have a design engineer around in every field, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to say that from there I went to a quality engineer position. And so that's really more focused on what the product that we're building at a given time and focusing on specific defects that are coming out and resolving those from an engineering standpoint.
Okay.
Probably not going to dive into that one as much or the next one.
So like if a tie rod falls off going down Interstate 35, the driver is very mad at you and he's like, why did this happen? Yeah. You have to answer that.
I have not personally seen that.
Okay.
That is my political answer.
Yeah, gotcha.
Hypothetically, if a tie rod falls off.
No, so it's more focused on what's coming out of the factory.
Okay.
So typically it's, smaller things, but yeah.
So in your field doing what you do, what is something you would tell a young person? Like, should they go look into doing what you do, or should they not?
Yes. So
okay.
My belief on engineering as a whole is that it's a really great way to understand the physical world.
Okay.
And we're
the analytical nature of understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like I just described with like the properties of cardboard versus steel versus like if you can conceptualize that down to a point where you've compartmentalized it and you're able to make decisions based on those properties without having to do too much thought.
Yep.
A technician who works on a vehicle, I sound like a complete idiot right now because they work with this with their hands all day long. Mm-hmm. But that is
it's a craft for them.
It is.
Yeah. Yep. It's not necessarily a knowledgeable understanding of details or
Doc's mechanic bills just went up.
So let me ask you, you're the guy that is putting the goddamn 3/4 inch bolt 2 inches behind the motor mount.
Yes.
That's you, isn't it?
That's me.
Also combining metric bolts with standard American.
Yeah, why
bolts.
can't y'all just pick one?
You've just simplified my role.
I know it's
Jeez.
Probably because of thermodynamics.
Yeah, that's got to be what it is.
Man, it's hard. That's the only thing I can say is that it's hard if you're responsible for the entire output of the system. It is hard to capture everything.
Yeah.
And there's times where the technician takes it in the shorts.
So you're now the applications engineer.
Yeah. So I went from quality to an applications role, and in applications I was supporting sales. And that's typically that's a definition of what an applications engineer does. Is they're trying to find applications for the product. So it's basically a sales engineering position.
Okay. Yeah. Because when I first met you, you were telling me, and we're going to bump ahead, that you were in like the cost factor, the money, the financial aspect of engineering.
Yep.
Okay.
So I from the applications role, I became the cost management supervisor, and that was my first role as a supervisor in my career.
You've worn quite a few hats at this point for this particular place.
And I only went actively looking for one of those hats. The rest were kind of somebody came to me and said, "We think you might be, a good fit for this role." So
why do you think that is? Like, is it something about you?
I mean, I'm trying to be humble.
Yeah, no, I'm really curious. How does one have to be in a company such that opportunities just fall in their lap?
The way that I approached it was, 1, take my job seriously.
Okay.
2, care about the product.
Yeah.
3, you know what? I should have said this first. Number 1 is care about the people. And I really do try
That's
to take that as my approach to being a supervisor. I got this concept from Simon Sinek. He's an author. He wrote a book called Leaders Eat Last.
Okay. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a great read.
I'd be a terrible leader.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, no, that's that concept.
It's the people first.
Yeah, that concept of putting your people before yourself.
Sure.
Tell your manager that.
Now, I am.
Yeah.
He's talking to this guy over here, not you, Zach.
No, not you.
No, I knew it wasn't about me. But yeah, that concept is hard though. Like I fail at it all the time. Like I'll be the first one to say that I fail at it all the time.
Yeah,
sure.
But
yeah, me too.
Being aware of it,
yeah,
and at least trying makes all the world a difference, and you can earn so much trust from your people.
Just being conscientious.
Just by being conscientious.
I'm seeing design engineer, your starting point, and then cost management.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about the cost.
You just don't. I can't imagine those two intersecting, and that's crazy to me.
Like I said, around the 2017, 2018 timeframe, I made a decision that I was going to go more of the MBA route, and so I think that opened a couple of doors for me, and I'll say our company is run by engineers. We've got engineers all the way up the management chain. When you build a technical product, you want people in the higher powers of position to understand what you're building.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to make wise decisions about your product. And so there is a lot of opportunity for engineers to grow, especially engineers that are able to have conversations.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of engineers, and no fault as a person, but a lot of engineers are very stuck in their own head.
Sure.
And so those typically tend to go more of the technical route where they become an expert in a system.
Yeah.
The engineers that, like I said, I kind of phrase myself as somebody that understands the technical side, but I really like the people more. Those tend to be more of the managers.
You can work around issues and communicate and be a leader. Yeah.
Now there's no hard lines. I mean, there's always blurred areas, but
what do you think about Elon Musk?
Man, you're bringing it, aren't you? Somewhere between, and dare I say it?
You dare.
You dare. You dare.
I don't think
you should.
Elon's
If you thought it,
listening.
you shouldn't.
Elon's listening to our humble little show.
Yeah, he's somewhere between an evil genius and a profound forecaster of the future.
In other words, like an absolute goddamn madman, and kind of what the world needs, right?
I don't know. It's
how do you push boundaries without people like him?
I mean, so you got to push boundaries, and that's the thing is we've built this society that only, in my opinion, we like to talk about how we're diversity, where everything is, I personally don't think as a society we're diverging. I think we're converging.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Explain that.
Yeah, I think we are more than we think we are.
Explain that.
So the interconnectedness of the internet and social media, and instant and text messaging and all of the different ways that we have made ourselves more and more dependent has really honestly connected our brains.
We're becoming a hive mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. I call it a convergence.
Groupthink.
Yeah. So I see this.
Is that good or bad for the future?
It's good. It's the thing that saves us.
From what?
From ourselves. From our technology. Great book. Peter Zehan, The End of the World is Just the Beginning. It talks about the breakdown of society as we know it.
But technology is
the
making
geopolitical reality that we live in.
And he's saying technology is bringing us to this convergence.
Yeah. So it's like,
so we have to be dependent on it to to eliminate it.
We're headed as a world, okay, or as a species, and I'm not even, like incorporating like global warming or anything like that, but we're headed towards a cliff, and we're not necessarily
because the Earth is flat.
Yeah, it's like we're not necessarily slowing down, right? We're headed towards a cliff, and if something doesn't change, we're going to go off that cliff.
Yep.
So the optimist says, okay, we will change because we're putting our heads together. We're thinking of new things. We're putting fields together in ways that and they're talking in ways that they've not talked before, and we're going to figure out a solution.
And we're at the crux of it.
What if it's all just? What if it's all, But
so you understand what I'm saying?
What if
I do.
What if in reality it's all just doom think though? Like if it's just a hive mind collectively thinking
and
the end of the world is not, which they have theorized every fucking generation thinks that way.
Sure, we may realize that, but we haven't realized it yet.
All right.
Yeah, but is all that you just said, is that not clouding the vision when all it really takes is turn around and go the other way?
Yeah, but
because there's so much coming in.
What is the other way?
Yeah,
well,
and it's
exactly.
one thing to it's one thing within oneself to look at a situation and say, "Oh yeah, obviously," but nobody else thinks that.
Yeah.
Right? To be able to impart that is yet another facet of the problem.
So
that's deep.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
To go back to what you said a second ago, so when you're at that crossroads of you either have to go up or you're going to fall, I understand both perspectives there. I understand the optimist perspective that you shared.
Yeah.
But I also deeply understand the pessimist perspective. And I really do have an honest concern that we as humanity are building our
demise.
Are building our demise. I mean, it sounds terrible.
Hate to laugh at that.
What else do you do?
Right?
Yeah. So
drink more whiskey.
It all comes back to whiskey.
All right, then let's broach that then, okay? Since you stated it, by what method are we building our own demise?
I think we've been building it since the Industrial Revolution.
I would go back to Descartes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about Descartes, but enlighten me.
It's like I would go back to even just before that, right? The Renaissance.
Okay.
Like the start of science. Yeah.
You're like pre-Galileo, pre-Newton. You're talking about like the OG guys.
The OG guys.
So you think it's better than that we like 40 acres and a mule? And
we're very
no.
Are we gonna? Is it better that we live in the Stone Age with no modern amenities?
No. Then you have to define what's the definition of better. Yeah.
Well,
you hit a problem there.
That's a 3-hour trail that I can see that we shouldn't go down.
Hey, thank you for.
I didn't.
Okay.
Thank you, Ty Rambo.
Ty Rambo.
Thank you, Ty Rambo, for the 1792.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
there's not much left.
Oh yeah.
Get the
I'll
last
finish it off.
I've Doc's been sucking on the bottle
he
the whole
backwashed.
time.
Nice.
So.
I'm not sick. I'm a
After he
doctor.
backwashed. Okay, so you ended up. Before we derail.
I know this
I'm
is.
trying to not derail.
You're now a
it will get
design
there.
engineer supervisor.
Yes.
So you've kind of come full circle.
Yes.
Back to okay.
And so now I'm back in a design position, but as the manager, I've got 9 people that work for me right now. And like I said, we're leading both development opportunities for the future, but also managing current product issues as well. So I see the whole side of the business. I see what we're doing today. I see what the issues are. I also see where we're going.
What's coming down the road tomorrow. Then this is where I think we've all had some kind of passionate conversations of future of machinery and powertrains. And I mean, this is what I'm excited about. Obviously, you two have your own thing going on with statistics and reality as we talk. I don't know.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, AI. That's,
well, go ahead and say it.
Artificial intelligence. So we're okay. Speaking from a standpoint of humanity and finding a better path. And then modern machinery that you and I talked about. Like, where does AI come into play?
Okay, so
are we gonna go down that road yet?
What road?
How about I'll keep it related to the industry I work in for now?
Oh, dude, I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
So as I said, I work in the heavy duty transportation industry. It's no secret that AI is being investigated for autonomous driving trucks. There are multiple companies out there that are doing that publicly. That is not an if, but a when. And I think the win is going to be a lot sooner than people realize.
Yeah.
And the original plan for a lot of these companies, and I've listened to countless YouTube videos from different perspectives, and most of them converged on what we're going to do is we're going to implement a vehicle that can drive itself but still require a driver behind the wheel.
User input.
Yeah. Like Tesla model.
Exactly. Yeah. Which, by the way, if you know about their recall, that was an interesting one. So
I do not know about the recall. What is it?
So there was an issue with their software where they required the driver's eyes to be focused on the road.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But there was a glitch in the software to where it was recognizing people looking at the road that were not looking at the road. A lot of other competitors in the industry, both automotive and heavy duty, required a dual
and his car, he's got a Tesla.
Redundant. That's the word I was looking for. A redundancy of having your hands on the wheel. And Tesla did not have that on some of their earlier models.
Right.
And so that kind of bit them in the butt that they didn't have the redundancy.
Yeah. So they had to push out a software update.
So the software update was the immediate fix, and it corrected the bug that was not, catching people looking at the road.
Which is a feature of today. It's like you have a recall, you push out a software update.
Yeah.
Right, you don't have to take your car to the dealership anymore.
Yeah.
Unless your update bricks your vehicle, which I've had happen.
I have a pending software update on one of my multi-100,000 vehicles, 100,000 mile vehicles.
It's like, your vehicle has too many miles, bro. We're shutting it down.
Yeah.
Is it conspiracy corner here, but are they doing the same thing to our vehicles that they do to our iPhones? Like if you get those updates, now all of a sudden you have to go buy a new iPhone.
Because it's too slow.
So I find it interesting that the guy we're having the conversation with chooses to depend upon the old technology, the old, maybe dependable technology.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting, right?
I don't think that has anything to do with like artificial intelligence or data. Now I am a pretty firm believer in privacy, and I think that we've lost that. But
I think so too.
But no, that's more just from I can change my own spark plugs on my 05 Hyundai.
Yeah,
I can do my own oil on my Nissan Frontier.
Yeah, there's something to be said about doing your own maintenance.
Exactly. Yep.
Or just being able to, if you wanted to.
Yeah, and it follows the essence of the freedoms a vehicle provides. Like, okay, I can make this thing run if I have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
and
deep.
I also have 3 vehicles. And if you combine the worth of each of those 3 vehicles, I'm probably looking at maybe $10,000 or $11,000. So for the price of what you can buy a moderately used, relatively new vehicle, I can have 3, and as long as I can keep 2 of them running, we're good to go.
You got a good rotation.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I haven't I haven't had a period longer than a week where one's down.
Yeah, I wish there were more. It's like more encouragement of that viewpoint.
Yeah. Well, there's been disencouragement of it with, past. Now I'm not trying to get political here, but like we had like cash for clunkers and all that, right?
Trying
to get vehicles off the road.
Emissions.
Yeah, because of
emissions. Yep.
All emissions.
Global
warming. You want to go there?
Yeah, we can go there if you want. I would love to go there.
So let me give you my 30-second overview on global warming. I am in the camp that believes that there is an absolutely valid scientific aspect of global warming that can be proven in a lab. But I do not believe it is as doom and gloom as a lot of what you see on social media these days.
It seems rather obvious that governmental entities have taken this up as a power. It's not that it's not that they think they can solve it. They've adopted the doom and gloom aspect so that they can further their own power.
Yeah, and
for the purpose of that.
That's deranged society even more. I just read a freaking article yesterday and popped up on the news that they have a proposed solution. You've heard of the Doomsday Glacier, right? Like if this thing breaks off Antarctica and it just automatically sea levels are 2 feet higher. Their proposed solution to this is to build a 60 something mile blanket to wrap around to separate it from warm waters. It's don't worry, it's only going to cost like 12 trillion. It's like,
holy shit!
You stupid people! That's all it is for them. It's money.
Just take that and put a filter in the ocean to get all the plastic out of it.
And it's not that there's nothing to the concern, right? You know, it's like obviously there's a concern, but we've been blown.
There has been some really good results from some of this. Like air quality has been cleaned up. I mean, I wouldn't want to drive around Los Angeles or any metropolitan area in the 70s and the smog has been cleaned up. People are a little more conscientious of trash and pollution. Like there's been some good results, right?
So you've probably heard this saying before that good men create.
I've heard this.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times creates
weak
men. Weak men make hard times.
Weak men makes hard times. I think in America we're in a little bit of the weak men creating hard times right now because we think that we can throw money at everything and fix it.
Yeah.
And what you just described is a perfect example of that.
Amen.
We do not like to change our habits, and we do not like to change our actions.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of ways, we're reaching a point where we can't just engineer technology to make it better without it being extraordinarily costly and impacting us from a different direction that we weren't expecting.
Yeah.
We're kind of past the point where the vast majority of new technology comes out and makes life more expensive, not more
environmental
or economic.
Yeah, so the hypothesis that the guy was on Rogan was like, we have to accept that there's some things we can't change, and guess what? As humans have done for millennium now, we just adapt to it.
Yeah,
and that's true. That's the way to approach it.
True.
But I think other countries are better at adapting than we are, and I think that a lot of that ties to our reliance on technology.
I was going to say this is a perfect segue for Savage Bro to say why.
Yeah. So before we get there, I have another question.
Let me say one thing.
Go ahead.
I love America.
Sure.
I love this country.
Amen.
And I want to fight for it. But I'm looking at it from a realist perspective. I think we've got some work to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would
Well,
agree.
you were right. The other countries do, but it's mainly because we just randomly send them $1 trillion to fix their problems.
No disagreement. No disagreement.
They also don't have massive population densities like America does, too.
Yeah.
Well, that's just because we don't kill our babies.
I got it.
Well, some of us. Some of us do.
So here's the
I've been trying to get this out for like 5 minutes.
I'm trying not to lose it. I'm trying not to lose it. Like I got a waning grasp.
Will this be the first time we've ever seen Doc get mad on a podcast?
Shut up, damn it. Okay, so
the other day I was eating a charcuterie board.
I hope that was made out of wood, not plastic.
Yeah, wood.
And sourced from economically harvested trees.
You remember that video of that guitar player?
Angriest guitar player in the world.
Look it up.
Look you right now.
Oh man,
fuck! I lost.
There's some great things about social media.
Okay. So is OpenAI what's happened there a model of how to achieve societal progress cheaply?
Is OpenAI specifically?
Repeat that.
Is OpenAI and what's happened with what they've done? They've essentially got society to help them create AI.
What do you mean by OpenAI? What OpenAI?
The company.
It's a company.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. So open is the.
So is that brought us a cheaper solution?
Yeah. So maybe start with some of your listeners.
You know where I'm going.
I do. I understand. Some of your listeners might not know who OpenAI is.
Okay.
Shit, I don't even know what it is. Listeners.
So OpenAI is one of OpenAI developed ChatGPT. I think most people know who ChatGPT is by now. OpenAI developed ChatGPT. OpenAI also just released a news announcement within the last week or so that they have a new text to video creation tool called Sora.
Yep.
And so that is gaining traction.
Text to video. So you input what you would want a video to be.
Yep, or picture. But
you and I played around with this a little bit. Not that specific tool.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna open
similar.
these. I'm gonna let Zach talk, but I'm gonna open
we're
these
getting into it.
for the sake of the text to picture part. But
okay,
carry on with what you were saying.
Yeah, but
cool.
Yeah, please.
So OpenAI is one of the largest companies that's in the direct to consumer AI product generation field.
Yeah,
that was a little.
I would agree.
A little bit of word salad there, but yeah, they are one of the leading companies that are developing AI interfaces that people can interface with. Other ones would be like Google.
Yeah,
they previously
Microsoft.
Yeah. Google previously had Bard.
Pornhub.
What website is that?
Never been there. Bard
is that like Wikipedia?
Exactly the same. Nothing on it's real.
Y'all are going to get my mom mad at me. Bard is now called Gemini.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Gemini. So you didn't know this? All right, cool. This is a fun topic. So within the last 2 weeks, this is relatively new. Gemini introduced
is a girl.
It is. It's a girl.
And Bard identified itself as a girl.
Oh boy! No,
honestly,
transgender AI.
Here we go.
Today's world, I don't know if what you're telling me is actually a story that you actually read.
I just made that up.
All right.
Yeah.
No, Gemini released their text to image, text to video creation capabilities within the last 2 weeks, and the images that people were able to prompt sparked a lot of controversy because they were rewriting historical figures and changing their race or changing their ethnicity or changing their gender. And Google, actually, surprisingly, to my pleasure, if I should say that word,
sure.
They actually pulled down the software and said they were going to fix it. And so I actually was kind of surprised to see that.
Yeah, but why was Google. It already happening and taking place?
So it went woke.
But they say that,
and Google said we're not going to allow it to go so woke.
I mean, if somebody gave it the
prompt
to create that, then
that's what I read. So Microsoft had an issue, I guess, with their AI that was starting to put out very violent replications of against young or kids, minors, stuff like that, sexualizing minors and other things too. But every defense I've read on AI, it's like, well, it's user input that's causing this. It's all user input that prompts all this stuff.
And that's true.
Okay.
So have you heard? Do you know what a large language learning model is?
Yeah. So that is.
I do not.
Essentially, the AI that we're interfacing with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's basically what AI is. So large language learning models are basically a computer program that has full access to the internet, has enough computing power and processing to be able to read the entire internet, and then break that down into words and then reorganize them based on user inputs.
Isn't that what human consciousness is?
No.
That's a difficult question.
Yeah. That's a longer talk.
Sure. Your consciousness, you are derived by everything that you were fed and taught, right?
Yeah,
you're getting into the Sam Harris territory here. Yeah, I don't know if you know who
really
that is.
To answer your question,
he's a great musician.
Some great discussions.
So
he's had.
we're getting close to Jordan Peterson, if that's where you wanted to go.
Oh,
yeah. So Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson have conflicting views on what you just mentioned. Which Sam Harris wrote a book called "The End of Christianity," where he basically made the case that humans don't have a soul, and that they are just a product of the inputs that they received over their life.
I disagree with that. I mean, obviously,
I would say the Hobbesian argument.
Yeah.
He made the Hobbesian argument, which is that we're just machines.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's basically this: we are a chemical reaction. I'm not saying I agree with this, but his standpoint is that we're basically a chemical reaction. The neurons in our brain are going to fire however they fire. We don't really have any control over it. We just have an illusion of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Sam Harris's stance. Jordan Peterson comes at it from a different angle. That he makes the claim of that everyone's that from time to time you have thoughts that come from inexplicable places.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And that's his entire stance on that we have something that's outside of or more complex than what you can describe.
Well, there's
essentially does free will exist or does it
It
not?
is exactly that conversation.
Well, there's countless studies right now asking or proposing is the brain is not the mind and the mind is not the brain, so on and so on.
Yeah, that's valid.
So,
You're getting into quantum physics now.
okay, that's another. I mean, is quantum physics just another measurement of how reality works?
No, I think the important
We're just discovering
the important point there
methods.
is quantum physics is just a measurement.
That's what I'm asking.
Just
Yeah,
as math is.
What do you mean? Quantum physics is just a measurement. What does that mean?
So you know, sometimes I lay around thinking about math and
That's something I never do.
yeah. And asking myself, okay, is math real? You know, because it's common. It's like you ask anybody, is math real?
But
You
it's
ask
said to
any
be
engineer.
it's said to be a universal language.
Yes, it is. I'm not debating that, but math is just us looking at reality and
Measuring it.
Yeah, defining a construct and learning how to manipulate those mental constructs of reality. But it's not reality itself.
South Park said it best when they said science is the measurement of why or how, not why.
Well, that's true.
So
yeah,
I
that's
like that. Yeah.
absolutely true. So my conclusion to myself is math is actually not real. I would disagree with a lot of people. And
You're coming for me now.
yeah, I know, right? And that would be my argument against quantum physicists. Is that quantum physics is just a way to think about the reality that we exist.
A human
in.
invented way to.
Yes,
You lost me on that last statement.
Yeah. So we live in reality. The reality is felt, and then we try to define ways to describe that felt reality. But one of those ways is math. Another way is quantum physics.
But there's bona fide tangible discoveries.
Another way is language.
There's bona fide tangible discoveries that have happened because of quantum.
Yeah.
mechanics,
Right. That's not saying it's not useful.
Yeah.
Right. It's definitely useful. Like our constructs of reality are useful.
So what are you saying?
I think
because he's got a rebuttal. So say it one more time. What are you saying, Doc?
Yes. So I'm saying we live in reality, but we have the need to describe reality. That's science.
Bordering on the topic of what is time.
Oh God.
Yeah. That's valid. That's valid. Yes, it's true.
So say what
true.
you said again. You think quantum physics is what'd you say about?
No, like quantum physics is real, but it's not real reality.
It's just a way you said
it's
it's something.
A model of reality.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
and then you said you
disagree.
He was about to lose you or something.
I like this. I like this.
I firmly disagree with the last statement that you said.
Yeah.
That quantum physics is not real. That is a massive misconstruction of what quantum physics actually is.
Yeah. Okay.
In today's society, it's caught on with the flat Earth model. It's caught on with a lot of. I mean, not to paint that into a corner, but that is where the flat earthers kind of have lost their.
How does that
focus?
I will not. Okay, so I'm interested, and I will not take any offense to telling me how my take on it. Is connected to flat earthers.
So no, okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not that.
No, I don't. Yeah. No offense there.
So let me break this down.
Speaking of flat earthers, you're gonna get your chance.
Oh God,
you're gonna get your chance.
Oh yeah. I sent you a picture too.
I'm gonna need more whiskey.
Well, you're in luck.
That works. That works.
There you go.
That was really good, by the way.
Yes, it
is.
is.
It's pretty
good.
I do like 1792. This is bottled.
No, this one was Ty Rambo.
Do I need to project this on the screen? Well, no.
Well, I'd have to. I was going to ask you. Do you want me to? Well, even to see the AI picture, I was going to say, do you want me to pick my camera up and turn it? I can probably. It's pretty easy. Mine is. So
could be.
Yeah, that's true.
So you gotta ask me again one more time because I know I kind of I wasn't intending to come at you, but
I know
from your standpoint, what is the question that you want me to answer?
Okay, so my assertion, was that our constructs of reality are not reality. Okay, so we're trying to better understand the world we exist and live in. And we come up with some pretty damn close. Like
I agree with our
Sigma 6.
I agree with our constructs of reality are not reality. Yeah. That statement I agreed with.
Okay, cool.
The statement that you made before was on the lines of quantum physics isn't real.
Yeah. Because it's a construct of reality. It's not necessarily reality itself. Now it might be it's like super Sigma 6 reality or super Sigma 6.
Then what is real reality?
That's a question that a lot of people are asking.
Well, for us, it's 3-dimensional, right? Like I can see, touch, and feel.
I would say 4-dimensional.
Yeah,
and smell,
time.
Yeah. We have to abide by it, whether we like it or not.
A lot of physicists regard time as the 4th dimension.
Sure. Okay.
So you have 3 dimensions of space, and then you have a dimension of time that allows you to progress through space.
Okay, so that is defined as our reality because we are in that, whether we like it or not.
I don't think you're incorrect to saying we are bordering on the question of is time real.
Okay, so I want to hear
because there's concepts of the 5th dimension and the 6th dimension. Yeah. Like the questions you're asking are along the lines of multi-universe.
Pull that mic towards, around towards you. There you go.
The questions that you're asking are on the borderline of multi-universe theory. They're on the borderline of. I mean, they you get into
I would agree with that,
entanglement
100%.
and all of that.
Okay, so I want to hear your rebuttal of why you think quantum mechanics and quantum physics is reality and why.
Okay, so I have to preface this with I am an old Earth creationist.
Okay. Explain that briefly.
I believe that there is a higher power, a God.
Okay.
I go to church every Sunday. Well, every Sunday I go to church as often as I can. But I firmly believe that there is a higher power.
I love that. You are thinking of things as deeply as I do, and you come down on the side of a creator.
Yep.
Right. I do love that.
Yeah. I am a unique specimen in that sense because a lot of Christians don't go down. They reject science, and I don't reject science. I believe science was a tool that was given to us. I believe it's for our own edification. I believe that it can be used in positive ways. And again, like I've not again, but I've insinuated a lot of fear about artificial intelligence, but I really do believe that there's a future out there that we can develop that is good. I believe that exists.
Yeah. Valid.
So. I am an old Earth creationist. I believe in science as a tool that was given to us to understand the universe and physical reality that we live in. But I believe at the end of the day that there's something more than just this existence.
Yeah. Okay.
And my best point to that is the mere fact that we are here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And aware of it.
And aware of it. And a lot of people go back to the Big Bang, and I go, even if I accept that, which actually there has been evidence to come out recently that suggests that the Big Bang was not exactly what we thought it was.
It's always changing. Yeah.
It's always changing.
The science is damn sure not settled.
So I've suspected that, since the talk of the great expansion, basically milliseconds after the Big Bang, there was this whoop.
Yep.
An infinite amount of matter.
We've learned that actually is a problem and that the theory doesn't hold.
Yeah, and I honestly, I've read a little bit about there's a lot of talk about the milliseconds after the Big Bang. Yeah. And I'm not going to say that I understand that very well.
Yeah, me either.
My point is merely just that when the universe, okay, let's accept the scientific model here for this purpose of this discussion.
Okay, I like it.
The moments after the Big Bang, all that existed was quark gluon plasma energy. If you don't know what that is, a quark makes up a proton or a neutron. A proton or a neutron makes up an atom makes up molecules. And and so up the chain of existence. Basically, what I just said means that there were no atoms in the milliseconds after.
Not
the Big
until
Bang.
God created the first one.
And that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I mean,
I thought that was-
so
Yeah.
I'm talking about quarks, and quarks make up atoms. Quarks make up the building blocks of atoms. If we're talking about generations, the quark is the son, and the atom is the grandparent. The proton and the neutron is the parent. The quark is the lowest level that we have discovered. And what they have found is that what the scientific models say is that in those moments after the Big Bang, all that existed was quark plasma, which means that quarks were all that existed. We didn't even have atoms. But my question is, okay, you take that millisecond back a half a second.
Yep.
What existed before then?
Sure. Yeah.
And science cannot create a computer model to explain that. And so the only answer that science is able to give is that the universe has always existed and always will, which is the same argument that Christians make about God.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So
it comes down to faith. You have to believe in something.
Agreed. 100%.
But we have more to talk about on that coming up too.
So in the creation story,
Oh man.
So God creates Adam, and then he tells Adam, or he goes along with Adam to name all the creatures. Right? Are we just doing that? Or with quantum physics? Are we seeing our reality where we're putting our reality into words, we're naming it, and we're creating our own construct in a sense?
Are you going down the simulation theory path?
I don't know.
Well, there's a certain group
I don't
of
know.
us.
That's a valid question.
There's a certain group of us that are doing that, and it's the ones that says you have to call me a them they. They are definitely doing what you just said.
No, yeah, it's true. No, yeah. Then you've entered.
But okay,
I want to keep my job, so I'm not going
I
to
don't know
comment.
where we ended up on this from trucks.
Well, we do.
Bring us back, Chance. Bring us back.
This is what we do.
Okay,
Yeah.
but no, I want to hear Zach. I don't think you ever really clarify why you think or your rebuttal of quantum physics is reality.
So okay, fair point. So it's as real to us as anything in this existence will ever be real to us.
Okay, that's valid.
And it's still in
There's a prediction there too.
And it's still in its
right?
like infant stage. It's infancy in its discovery.
Oh yes, most certainly.
If you deny quantum physics as real, then you also have to deny the other scientific discoveries that were determined with those same tools.
Yeah.
Such as?
I mean,
okay, so
put you on the spot.
Okay, so
the
there's
iPhone.
There's a. I was going to go a different direction. There's a complex over in Europe. I can't remember exactly which.
The LIGO.
LIGO.
Yeah, the
collider,
hadron particle collider.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh god, they're building a new one too.
They are building a new one.
Massive.
It's going to be like 3 times the size.
It's freaking awesome.
And yeah, they're diving into the Higgs boson particle, which is
which they've seen.
They have seen it to an understanding of Six Sigma.
I think this.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is 100%, but I think all my people call that the wormhole to Satan or something like that. They think
it's along those lines.
Yes, they think it's
a
yeah. Okay.
Well, if Satan pops up, we'll say
just so I'm on the same page as you guys.
Look, Chance, I don't know how to answer the question of what's real because like this table I'm touching right now.
Yeah, what's real? Yeah.
This table I'm touching right now is all that I really have at this moment to go off of what's
That's
real.
our 3 dimensions, yes.
And so if I lose touch with saying that this table that's in front of me is real,
then your reality,
I'm gone.
You're done. Yeah.
I am gone.
Or you're on shrooms.
I was going to say, where they call that psychedelics.
Yeah, or
they
that.
call that psychedelics.
Yeah.
And so I believe that we are here. I believe that we are having this conversation.
Yes.
Which is,
Well,
it's
I
crazy
really
that we have to
fucking hope
say
so.
that.
I mean, I'm
in
like, I
today's-
kind of like being present. I feel
but
like we're here.
The real question is there 14 other of us doing the same thing? That's the question.
So the math says that's
Is
possible.
it? Yeah.
Right.
The math says it's possible.
I don't know that I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, why couldn't you believe it though, right? I mean,
I mean, if it is happening, it's happening so far away from us that we physically will never, ever be able to even have a hope of even detecting that it exists.
That's a good thing.
No, but that was the question. The question is not is will we ever see our second self, or if there's 14 of us? But the question is, do you believe that there could be 10,000 more of you?
That would just further my question of where did it all come from? Because like I
Okay,
can
well, let me tell you. Let me go back and hang on. So
I think that's a valid response.
Okay,
I like that.
Well, hang on now.
Yeah.
You say it is, but I'm about to throw something at you.
Okay.
So you say you believe in God Almighty, the Creator, correct?
I do.
You believe He can do anything, correct?
I have a feeling of where this is going, but yes,
Why couldn't He make 10,000 of you?
he could have.
Yeah,
So then you got to believe that there could be.
You don't have to just because
Like, what is belief?
Just because something's possible doesn't mean you have to believe
We're
it.
not going to do the belief thing right now. We have a perfect
Yeah.
segue for that later. So don't fuck it up right now. Don't fuck it up. Right now, what we're going to do is follow up on our conspiracy corner with Savage Bro. And
Well, hang on, just because I've had this
No,
conversation with my kids before.
Yeah,
because
it's a valid
about
question.
aliens. So my kids have asked me, "Hey, Dad, do you believe in aliens?" And I said, "Well, I have to." And they're like, "What do you mean you have to?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Well, I believe in God. I believe that He created the earth and He can do anything." And I said, "So how can I say that if I can't tell you that? Well, I don't think He can make aliens."
Yeah.
Or and then you got to go down the rabbit hole. Is what are aliens?
but that's something you have to explain to your kids. Like, it's not cartoon from outer space.
Exactly.
Could be an exact same replica of you
us,
and I.
yes,
just
exactly
not
right.
from this planet.
Do you know what Planet 9 is?
Negative.
God damn it, here we go.
I do not know what Planet 9 is.
You do not?
No.
I do.
Is
Planet
it flat?
9
Is it flat? By any
It's not
chance?
flat. It's not flat. So,
Neither is this one.
oh man, I didn't even.
How do you
notice
know
it
it's
was on the
not
screen.
flat?
I say, so Planet 9 is.
How do you know it's not flat?
Let me explain what it is first.
Jesus.
Let me explain what it is.
That was not in vain.
Planet 9 is a mathematical extrapolation of orbital inconsistencies in the outer Kepler belt.
Okay.
So the orbit of certain asteroids that we've detected does not fit the gravitational model of the 8-planet system, including Pluto.
Yeah, they think there's something else tugging at these asteroids.
The math indicates that there's a heavy mass object out in that realm past Pluto. A Neptunian-sized object is what they describe it as, like 4 times the size of Earth.
That we just can't see yet?
That we can't see.
spot it.
Oh, okay. Because we don't have the technology to reach that far? Or is that
They put a blanket
There's a
over
lot
it.
of scientists. There's
Yeah.
a lot of scientists that reject the calculations of the asteroids and say that Planet 9 doesn't exist. So this is more of just fun food for thought.
It had global warming issues, so they put a blanket over it.
So there's an entire segment.
That sounds right.
There's an entire segment of people that believe that Planet 9 exists and that it's on a large elliptical orbit that passes by the Earth every 2,000 to 4,000 years, and that there's a group of people that live on that planet called. So the planet's name is Nibiru, and there's a group of people that live on that planet. Yep. And they take it back to
Sounds like a Star Wars.
No, it's partly to do with Scientology too. Scientology
it does.
gets wrapped up in that.
And they take it back to the ancient Egyptians and tie it to hieroglyphics and mentions of extraterrestrial beings coming to the Earth. Not saying that I believe on this at all.
It's just interesting that people.
I go down some wormholes.
So we should be due for the return of that planet within our lifetime, is what they're saying.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I just wanted to share something interesting.
All right, here we go. Back to this one.
And now it's time for
Check out that map.
Conspiracy Crossroads with Savage Bro.
So, is our audience seeing this?
They're not, but we'll post it on our Facebook page so they can see
okay.
it. Yeah, so they can tell what we're looking at. Yeah,
Hot Springs, Dakota.
yeah. So
Professor
I have not
Orlando Ferguson.
Yeah,
I haven't
like
seen
Mexican and Scottish or what?
seen maybe. I haven't seen this map yet. This was the first for me. So
Is this a flat Earth model?
it's not a flat Earth model.
This
It's
is a hubcap.
I was going to say, this is a very
spherical.
unique.
It's like spherical or something. Is what it
Map of the square and stationary Earth. Yes. So there's still. Jesus.
Yeah, it's a flat Earth, but it's the whole dome. They say we live in a dome, and this is how the not a dome, but what do they call it in the Bible?
Oh my gosh.
Where the water was
response.
above the
Yeah, it's kind of like a dome.
but it wasn't the dome. I was looking for that word.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's
Firmament.
Firmament. There
Yeah.
you go. That's yeah. But I have not seen this one yet, so I was.
I know way more about this subject than I care to admit.
Okay. But
So-
hold on. Let's do.
Yeah.
This right here says scripture that condemns the globe theory.
So okay.
Well,
This
you're
is
going to
saying-
go back into that.
So I can
Firmament
talk
stuff.
about this.
I can't read it though. It's
So
Yeah, it's not.
flat earthers base a lot of their beliefs. So flat earthers are religious.
I would agree with that.
Biblical zealots is how I would describe them.
Yeah.
That they take a lot of the biblical text to the extremes, but a lot of their problems result from the fact that they use non-literal translations of the Bible. So the flat earthers' favorite translation of the Bible was typically the King James version.
Virgin.
Yeah,
that King James version, boy. She's got it going
I'm
on.
not gonna live that one down. I'm gonna hear that from somebody. Oh man,
There's the podcast name right there.
There it
King
is.
James Version.
version. So the King James version.
Oh.
You're not going to be able to get rid of it now.
Uh-huh.
This is
It's in-
forever.
it's in there.
I'm done.
Yep.
Version of the Bible uses a translation that uses the word firmament. But if you use a more literal translation of the Bible, like the ESV or the New American Standard Bible, it uses the term, and God help me here. Man, I can't remember what the word is, but there's a different. I want to say that it has something to do with like a layer. Ooh,
Oh God.
party
Yeah.
foul. I'm
Oh,
really struggling here.
No,
It's a layer.
So it's describing the atmosphere.
It's describing the atmosphere, in
Yes.
my opinion.
Yes.
This looks like, okay, you took a 4x4 chunk of 2-inch thick wood, and the earth is not, it's concave and convex. It looks like an old hubcap.
I reject
This
this
is
entirely.
This is dumb as shit.
I mean,
right
I've
here.
seen pictures
That does-
of the Earth from space. That's enough for me.
That's all.
Yeah.
Pictures. That's all.
I mean,
we're gonna go
and
off
we can
pictures.
talk about whether that was real.
Oh, hold on, Mister. You were just on the pulpit here about God. You haven't seen a picture of God,
No. Well, I mean,
so
technically,
you can't
He
say
did
with
say
any
he believes
degree
in
of
God.
certainty.
technically,
There we get into our previous discussion. Like,
yeah.
who said-
I didn't say the picture. That was him saying the picture.
yeah, that doesn't exist.
But I'm also
Picture
saying
of God.
Yeah.
you have
No.
not seen any
Picture of
evidence.
Jesus.
I mean, we don't know that.
No, that's what I said. You
I
got to
mean,
have
maybe.
some belief in something, kind of like what he was just saying a while ago.
But you
Do
can't
you?
say with any degree of
Okay,
certainty.
do you
I believe.
have to have a belief in something?
Any degree of
I think
certainty is
so.
a very strong claim.
Why get up and go to work if you believe in zero things? Why do that? Why do what we do if you have
Have to
zero
eat.
belief?
Because you got to eat.
Yeah, have to eat.
You don't have to
survive.
go to work to eat.
Yeah,
Not
you do.
today's time. Bullshit. There's 40 billion illegals coming across that doesn't work, and they're eating, bro.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that don't work that eat. So I promise you.
I do
Oh,
believe.
man.
I do
Okay.
believe in border control.
So, yeah,
believe we don't have it.
A
That's
country's
what I
got to have a
believe.
fucking border for sure.
Believe we
It's
need
not-
it.
It's
Yeah.
not political at all. Like we have to have a border. Anyways, enough of that. But you had I don't
What?
have these up for a
I mean-
reason. I want to get
Yeah,
to that.
Are
nobody
these
can see 'em,
AI generated
so
images?
They are.
Yeah.
These are AI generated images. I also want to get back to the lunar landing because he's off on a tangent about it, and
Let's do it
he
now.
wants to talk about belief and not believing evidence you can see with your own eyes. But anyway, we're going to get to that. This is
Okay.
AI text to image and docket. What
Yeah.
we spend like 2 hours up here with
Yeah.
this crap.
Yeah.
Trying to get it the way we wanted
But
it.
this is where I'm like, is this really some sort of consciousness? Because you just type in something and this thing is able to conjure up these images. However, if you look, there are weird, bizarre anomalies in here that are much like the human subconscious in a dream state.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we wanted
I see some of them.
a radio tower with Whiskey Bros around the table as the name. And then right here, you have whatever this anomaly,
Benster.
Benster. That just came out of nowhere. The 5G, the TH,
Yeah, we asked for the
So
5G.
do you want to know what
No.
Do you want to know what Benster probably is?
no clue. Go, yes.
Probably a name that was on one of the websites that it cross referenced when it created your image.
Okay, well, not
Most
this,
likely.
not this picture. We did another one about just Whiskey Bros around the table.
Yeah.
There was like a picture of a sloth randomly in the corner over there. Remember that thing? And then a vehicle.
Yeah.
There was a vehicle in the picture. It was just weird.
Here's another.
Weird stuff.
And can you
this-
zoom in like below that G on that level, below the G? I'm curious
to see what's in the windows.
But
Yeah.
it's not coherent even on the language that we put in, and I'll
There's
show
some
you.
sort of writing in
Below
there.
the G.
So right, I just now
See in the
noticed
windows,
this.
there's some writing in there.
I mean, I kind of see the letter S.
Right here, no, that's a 5 because of the 5G and
5G
the absurdity.
probably.
Oh,
But
Yeah, here, I'll show you.
I bet we went through 100 renditions of this.
Oh yeah,
what
that's
are
weird.
those?
Well, I don't know. I bet, and it
Let's
never
say AOC.
It never could. It could never get Whiskey Bros around the table right, except for just this one image, and there's still this anomaly. Like
Yeah, this one was close, but except the weird G, we don't even know where that came
yeah,
from.
and then this is. I had to take this one and do my own thing with it.
Did you try giving it prompts to recreate the same
Oh, yeah,
image with
multiple times.
slight tweaks?
Over
You did?
and
Okay.
over and over. See, even on this one, this is a bad, and this is what we ended
I
up
like that
landing
one.
on. But I had to cut it out and do our own editing. But here you go. I just wanted simply to say Whiskey Bros around the table. Whiskey Bros around the table.
I didn't even notice that.
Whiskey Bros around as fuck
AF.
the table.
Which fits. I mean, it does fit.
That thing, that same thing happened over and over. We
Yeah.
just couldn't get a simple Whiskey Bros around the table out
Wow.
of it. It just would not do it.
Wow.
And more strange anomalies. This is probably the best result that we got. But even here, like, look at the table legs don't really even make sense. Why is there a bench under the table?
Yeah.
So that's just the limitations of the technology.
At its current state, it'll
Yeah.
change. I mean, we're kind of in the, so there's different terminologies being thrown around right now. There's artificial intelligence and there's artificial general intelligence.
Yes.
Have you heard
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
So artificial general intelligence is kind of a loose term being used to describe when AI gets conscious.
Yep.
So my issue with this is if I ask you to imagine a scene in your head, it's going to happen the same way this happens. It's probably not going to be
Okay. Valid.
realistic and
That's
physically.
a valid observation.
If I could print out what you saw in your head, there's going to be strange anomalies that only your subconscious
It's a
would
really
conjure
interesting
up.
thought.
And it's the same thing that's happening with digital imagery.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thought because
Yeah.
I mean, so take that example to the extreme. So, would you say that your dreams were crazier when you were a kid or when you were an adult?
Oh,
When I was a kid.
Which way do things progress
Yeah. I think.
towards
That-
reality?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
I don't know. I have some pretty
That's
crazy
deep.
dreams. As an
I mean-
That's deep because it's also a retort to our previous discussion.
Which part?
Yeah. So which way do things progress? They progress towards reality. Things are not reality.
You can't escape the truth.
Is kind of, a way to describe my side of the argument, not argument,
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no argument. One of my fundamental core beliefs is that truth will prevail. And now I don't claim to know what truth is.
yeah.
I don't-
So
Yeah.
what
unless
does that
we're
look
talking
like for us?
politics here.
Yeah.
When
They
you
will not.
potentially have artificial intelligence rewriting or reimagining
Okay.
our history, what does truth look like to generations 40, 50, 60, 70,
I have a
100 years
quote.
from now?
So we
Well, it's not the
Yeah.
bad thing about it. It's not AI doing that. It's us.
I have a
We're
quote I
rewriting
came up
our
with.
history.
I want to run by y'all.
Having that whiskey right there, man.
while he's
we
looking
go.
that quote up.
But what is considered facts or truth is what we would look back in books and say, these are facts written down by a man.
So the narrative of what might be going
Yes.
actually on might be a lot bigger than our lifespan. We might go down a pathway as humanity where we follow non-truth for hundreds of years before we finally get smacked in the head.
Yeah,
I
what
think
if we
we're
already
learning-
have?
I think we are learning that we have.
Yeah. We've
Yeah.
already kind of gone down that way, but how well are we going to course correct
I don't know. I think we're learning that as we speak.
as we go? Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
on the whole rewriting stuff, when I've thought this before, like if we were to go back in history and take the iPhone or a television, today's television,
Yeah.
how mind blowing that would be. But dude, can you imagine 150 years from now when somebody picks up a history book
There you go.
and reads the
Thank
crap
you.
that's going on currently with everything?
Well, they've already named this a new era, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be weird.
God,
It's hard to put ourselves in those shoes.
I think in a lot of ways we're waking up to a lot of the, and I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole here, but a lot of the logical inconsistencies that we've been treating as truth, I think are starting to fall. And again, truth wins.
That's
So-
bordering on our previous discussion that we just, we've become unhinged.
as a
right?
society.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let,
yeah.
let me ask you this. So
How do you know it's true?
right. So what you just said is you think some of that stuff that is not necessarily true or believe it, you think it's fallen off, right?
I think the process has started. I don't know where it's
So
going to go.
Name a time in history that we can recall that this has happened before.
Yeah, there have been a number.
This much, I guess.
I mean, there have been
There's a lot
ends
of
to civilization. Like civilizations unraveled many times before.
Rome.
Yeah, Rome.
Mm,
Or what was that?
that's the
collapse
Vatican
of,
right now, by the way.
The collapse
Rome
of
started.
human population prior to the axial age.
Mhm.
What do they call that? You've talked about some show on Netflix that talks about it.
Ancient
About what?
Apocalypse.
Yeah,
Ancient Apocalypse. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're right on the doorstep of the Younger Dryas impact theory right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Younger Dryas impact.
So the Younger Dryas impact theory is a theory that I first learned from Graham Hancock, who's a common guest on Joe Rogan, and his counterpart. Golly, the name is escaping me right now. Shoot, it's going to hit me eventually. But there's another guy that Graham Hancock typically will come on Rogan with, and it's killing me that I can't remember it right now. But anyways, Hancock.
I'm sorry, but I just had some of that
really loves him some
Taylor.
Graham.
God, it's so-
Hancock is more of a journalist, and the other dude that I can't think of his name is more of a scientist.
Is Hancock the guy
biologist.
that did those?
Hancock's the guy that did Ancient Apocalypse.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Are you
And
talking about the big guy that's like really big stature,
Yes.
white beard,
Yes.
long white
Yes.
hair? Yeah, what the hell is his
I
name?
can't think of his name.
Yeah, it'll come to me here in a minute.
I'm almost tempted to look it up.
Google it.
Hey, go for it.
But so let's say Graham.
How you gonna Google that? Big,
Hancock,
tall, white-haired guy with a blonde beard.
Rogan. Let's see, Hancock, Rogan, Randall Carlson. That's
Randall
That's
Carlson. Yeah.
I knew it would come up pretty quick. So Carlson's more of a biologist, a scientific guy. Long story short, they make a case, the two of them together, that a comet hit the northern glacier at the end of the last ice age.
Mhm.
Yep.
That basically ended the ice age in an instant,
Yep.
if you will. That comet caused a massive amount of water
Flow.
to immediately
Yeah, I watched
thaw and flow, and there are ripples in upper Montana
this. Mhm.
Yep.
that indicate, like, if you look at the ripples in a stream, these are like the ripples in a stream, but magnified by 10,000
Yeah.
or 100,000. I don't know what the magnifier is, but these ripples are, 20 feet tall each.
Mhm.
And so they indicate that an amount of water flowed through that area that was 300, 400 feet tall
Jeez. And
Jeez.
rapidly, right?
rapidly. And so there are they call them bluffs.
Mhm.
I think that's the word that Carlson uses. There's areas where you can look at the earth and the earth is 500 feet tall over here
Mhm.
and 500 feet tall over here and level everywhere in between.
Sea level.
Yeah.
And it has those ripples. And so it looks like water just burst through there and moved all. And if you look downstream, if you will,
Yeah.
you can find boulders that are 40 feet tall that just got
shouldn't be
swept
there.
by the
Yeah.
water.
Slammed out of there, yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And so it just washed all the sediment away. And
Well, I think
left
they-
the.
Why
They
did
also-
you
they also
choose the
found-
number 40?
Why did I choose the number 40?
Yeah,
When did I use the number 40?
that the boulders were 40 feet tall.
Just what felt relatively
Because
accurate to me.
as you're describing that scenario, I'm sitting here thinking Noah's flood.
Mm.
So there is.
Yeah,
The
40
prob-
days, right?
Oh, yeah,
so the
no,
number
that's-
40 was in my brain.
Yeah,
and then you said 40.
the timelines don't add up. That's the one. That was one of my first thoughts that I
Yeah.
had on, like, oh, was this Noah's flood? I mean, in the biblical timeline, Noah's flood was more like 6,500 years ago, whereas the Younger Dryas impact comet theory was more like 11,500 years
I mean,
ago.
you're just talking like 5,000 years.
Yeah, just 5,000 years
Yeah,
ago.
and who's to say that those timelines, according to whatever way they were
It's-
written down, I mean, they might be skewed.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
Yeah, but I
but
think
several-
the biggest thing on the Noah's thing was the
Yeah.
place.
Well, okay,
It could have been just there.
Yeah, but that would have been
global.
world affecting. The Younger Dryas theory would have been world affecting.
You think the thing that caused the flood he's talking about would have gone that far?
Oh yeah, it would have affected the whole.
So it did.
Planet.
So Plato wrote about this.
Yeah.
Plato wrote about the lost cities, and I'm gonna skew the exact terminology that he used, but basically Atlantis. And if you go read Plato's text, it lines out the timeline for the loss of Atlantis at about 11,500 years ago.
So what's the big meteor that hit in that took out the Mayans? You know, you can still see the.
Oh no, that wasn't Mayans. That created the Yucatan. That was actually the 65 million years ago asteroid that killed the dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's the crater in Mexico. The crater in Mexico that's a couple hundred thousand.
It's under seawater right now, right?
Well, part of it is.
Part of it, yeah.
That's on the tip of my tongue as well. Anyways, so some of the evidence for the Younger Dryas impact theory, just so that I'm not just spewing a theory, because this is one that
it's a valid theory.
This is one that I'm considering as potentially a possibility. So one of the strongest pieces of evidence, just to go straight to it, because the ripples in the ground, that's kind of subjective a little bit.
Sure.
One of the more hardcore pieces of evidence is the discovery of nanodiamonds throughout the entire Earth's crust that date to that timeline. And so when you say date, what you're looking at is layers of sediment that have built up over time. And so you can dig down. This is how scientists tell, how old certain artifacts are that they dig up. They look at the layers of sediment, and it's really not hard to tell. You just look at the color of them. And so they have found nanodiamonds, which are microscopic diamonds that are only created in that form that we know of and the shape that they are by large, immediate impact events to the Earth. Is the only, and we've been able to replicate them with smaller comets that are smaller meteors that have hit the Earth in recent time. But if all around the Earth you go down about 11,000 years into the Earth's core, you can find nanodiamonds everywhere.
Oh, that's wild.
Don't ask Savage Bro if there's liquid hot magma.
Yep. there is, but we don't know what in the center is.
You can also find plastic down there too.
Plastic.
Liquid hot
magma.
Dose of levity.
So interesting.
All right, I want to move forward to the lunar landing events, and
what did that actually happen?
Did it?
Yes.
So I listened to y'all's episode last week, and
as did everyone.
Actually, you're coming here with evidence of how the camera situation worked out.
So there was two things that caught my attention that Heath brought up, and it was the camera, and then it was also the landline with JFK. I did not get a chance to look into the landline question, so we can talk about it.
That's fairly
time.
simple. It's a phone connection to Houston. Houston beams the dialogue to them. It's a
I
radio
assume,
transmission.
But
probably
you'll learn here in a second how my mind works, because I think you're right, but I want to know every detail.
Okay. But the camera, how we got
what number did he call?
So I did a little bit of research. I did some Googling. But I think I understand where you're coming from with the Googling comment. But I do think that there's a way to go about it in the right direction. So what I found was a document that was created by RCA, and RCA was the company that created the lunar camera. I found a 75-page-ish document that broke down their design, the specifications, and then a list of drawing revisions that they did, and then testing.
Okay.
And so I read through about 10-ish pages of that document. And I also watched a couple of their videos as well, and then kind of cross-referenced. And what I discovered is that so the entire system is really not that complicated. You've got a lunar module that has a camera on top, and then underneath the camera, it connects to what they call the television control unit, the TCU. There's an acronym for the camera as well, but I don't remember what that one is. Then you've got the camera, you've got a TCU, and then you've got a transmitter for radio signal, and then you got wheels. So basically, the Earth sends Houston to the Earth. Houston sends a signal, a radio signal, to the camera. It receives the signal, and then it changes the orientation of the camera. Now, that sounds feasible, but how did it track, right? How did it track the Apollo 17 ship as it took off, the lunar module? So I kind of walked a chance through this on the way here, but to break it down even into more technical terms, the system, if you will, had 2 stepper motors. If you know what a stepper motor is, it receives electrical current and it moves at 1 speed. It's not a variable speed motor. And so each stepper motor can go 2 directions. So they have an up-down control and a lateral side-to-side control. And because these don't change because these motors go at 1 consistent speed, what they were able to do is they were able to pre-plan the distance that the camera was from the lunar module, and there was a known 2-second delay in the radio signal from Houston to the moon. And so they pre-planned the operator sitting in Houston to press the button for the camera to go up 2 seconds before the lunar module ejected. And
which
so
is fucking brilliant.
It is, but here's the kicker. They tried this with Apollo 15 and they tried it with Apollo 16. I didn't tell you this on the way.
No, you didn't. I think I told you to be quiet so we could talk about it on the air. Like, shut up. Shut up right there.
So there's video of this online. You can go look up the Apollo 15 lunar ejection and the Apollo 16 lunar ejection. And what you'll see is that on the Apollo 15, there was an issue with the clutch on the camera that transferred. So clutch is basically just engage or disengage to transfer the movement.
Must have been a Dodge.
There goes our sponsorship from Mopar.
Or they didn't have the mirrors out. That's probably
true.
What
they didn't fold those mirrors out.
So there was an issue with the clutch. So it received the signal, but the clutch didn't engage, and so the camera just stays flat, and the lunar module just goes
disappears,
and it just
So how are we able to receive that video?
So that's
back,
another
though?
Tell them all right, one more thing.
One
more thing, and then Apollo 16. Apollo 16, it does follow, but it wasn't far enough away, and so it follows it up into the sky for a little bit, and then you lose it. So then Apollo 17, they have it even farther back, and it follows it up until
because they didn't have zoom and
literally freaking.
It wasn't zoom; it was the distance from the camera So all of the cameras were set up on a 1:6 ratio. So it was a 6 times magnification. I learned that while reading the document. But yeah, it was just the distance. So what was your question?
I was just laughing. Like it was literally trial and error.
It was trial and error.
Yeah.
It was trial and error.
There was no reason to go back other than like, hey guys, you need to go back to the moon. The GoPro didn't capture.
Yeah,
the
we didn't catch it, bro.
The 75-page document that I found had the data, the documentation records of them changing out the clutch.
Okay,
that was pretty interesting.
Freaking cool.
So it happened.
I 99.9% believe that it happened.
To a 6 Sigma.
It passes my sniff test.
Yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. And you think about the collaborative feat that was in 1960s.
So there was the question about how did the data get from the transmitter to back to Earth, and so that's all just binary code. So fast radio burst signals, so zeros and ones, and that can be used to translate information that is linear into a 3D image. We do it all the time.
We're doing it right now.
Yep.
With these digital cameras.
Yep. So basically, they just
do a hard disk.
The radio signal goes on. That's a 1. It turns off. That's a 0. And then so it looks for micro increments. So it might go on 0, on 0. And then there's a whole. That's what the control unit is there to break that information down and turn it into whatever the.
So in a simplified essence, is they transmitted wirelessly from the camera.
They did
back to Houston.
You need to remember that
digitally.
Yeah. It might have been analog.
Yeah, it was analog back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But you got to remember that you're dealing with NASA, who has all the money. And so while that might not have been consumer technology at that time, it's pretty normal for NASA to be 10, 15 years ahead of the consumer industry.
Yeah.
But back then there was no computer CAD software that they were using. There was nerds out in the field
It's true.
deploying this stuff. I forgot the book of mathematics and code that it took just to program those flight modules was like 8 feet tall.
There's a picture of a girl standing next to them.
Yes.
And she was like the lead engineer on the software side of things. And yeah, the stack of books is taller than her.
Man, that's crazy.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And really impressive and humbling.
But it took the world power to pull that off in 1960. And now companies are pulling off.
Back to Elon Musk.
No, not just Elon Musk, but
what's the company that'll take you to space now?
Could be Microsoft,
SpaceX. I don't know.
No, there's somebody else. I thought
New Horizons.
New Horizons. That's Bezos's.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bezos.
Yeah.
No, it's the Virgin Galactic guy. Is that?
Oh, that's another rich dude.
King James Virgin. That's
King James Virgin.
No, that's
what's his name?
Virgin
Airways.
Richard, yes.
He also went to
not
the
Dawkins.
he went in the sub too.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't go in the.
No, not that one. He did go down though.
Conspiracy Crossroads again.
Yeah. Oh, Richard.
That's his name.
Richard
Dick.
He was also in Pretty Woman.
Oh my gosh! But
Richard Branson.
Yeah,
Branson.
that's it. So you have
Charles's brother.
Multiple companies that are producing order of magnitudes above what NASA could do in 1960s right now.
Yes.
And so it's a sign of progress.
The stuff that's in our pocket right now is able to do more than what they could do in the 1960s.
Yes.
Lint.
Yeah, it is.
I have nothing in my pockets.
So
the smartphone.
Oh God!
I was laying around and
of course
had this quote pop into my head, and I just want to run it by y'all to test the truth of it. Right?
Okay, wait a minute. You were laying around and a quote popped into your head.
Yeah.
That you've heard before.
No.
That you this is your quote.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So. Okay.
I just got to get in the right mindset here when I'm receiving this.
As for the perennial struggles of life, insofar as they can be life-altering or threaten life-ending, they are true. Okay? Insofar as they lead us to aspire or transcend, they are good. If they leave us speechless, wanton for words, they are beautiful.
Did AI write that?
That's deep.
Chicken nuggets.
No, that was all me.
Okay.
That was all me. I didn't even run it by AI.
Can you read it one more time?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot there.
There's a lot there. Okay. So, as for the perennial struggles of life, insofar as they can be life-altering or threaten life-ending, they are true. Insofar as they lead us to aspire or transcend, they are good. If they leave us speechless, wanton for words, they are beautiful. Well, that's deep.
I don't think there's anything in there that I disagree with.
Sometimes beautiful also does not imply immediate happiness either.
No. It's like a state of awe, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Or a state of appreciation, right?
Yeah. That may not come until later. Like you may not acknowledge it until later.
And by the way, there's nothing in there that I can disagree with is one of the highest compliments I can give.
Wow.
Because
Nice.
I find something to
Thank you.
disagree with everything. And much to my wife's despair.
So why did you jot that down?
Because it popped in my head. Yeah.
All of that, all at once.
I think I was meditating at the time. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Meditating.
I like it. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, cool.
You know, on that
But
note,
I didn't know if you were wanting
deep.
to elaborate.
It
more.
is.
No, I was presenting it for possible debate because I was like, wow, this seems right.
Good luck.
No, I don't see anything in there.
But on that note, I think we need to start a segment, and I think you need to bring your book,
Doc's quote book.
Oh shit.
and we need to do a Doc's deep thoughts segment in our podcast.
Man who stand on toilet high on pot.
Where you just read quotes from your book.
That's great.
Yeah, that would get
Because that thing blows my
really
mind
deep.
sometimes.
I've got saved email quotes from you from like 2014.
Yeah.
That I saved. Yeah, you have some wise dissertations.
I don't even fully understand them. It's like they pop into me,
Ooh,
and then I
there you
write
go.
them down.
That's the Jordan Peterson
back to Jordan Peterson's
Yeah. They
come
divine
from the void.
Mhm.
inspirations.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah,
The
that's
shower.
a question. and that's why I tend to be. I don't like this. This term is poorly defined, I believe, but why I tend to believe there's a creator or believe there is some
higher power.
Yeah, or there's some fund of being that comes into us, right? That's
Whoa, what'd you just say?
Right? I tend to be a theist.
The ether.
Yeah, I tend to fall on the side of theism.
There's too many things that just can't be explained. That why not? Yeah, we have to.
Right.
Well, I think that's a good argument of the we come from apes thing. Is there's just so many things that we can't explain, and
that's hard because I also feel like we came from apes.
That's just what DNA suggests, right?
Old Earth creationist.
Yeah.
DNA also suggests that you and I have similar constructs to a fucking banana.
True. Yes. So if we came from apes, how come there's no more humans coming from apes?
Oh, they are
over a very long.
That's how we got AIDS.
Yeah, there are.
Gosh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Too soon. Too soon.
Oh
my
god. Yeah. There's, then you're bordering on the evolution debate.
Probably also how we got COVID.
Yeah,
right?
For sure, COVID.
Oh man, that's not how we got COVID.
No,
yeah,
no, that came straight from China.
I think COVID is a classic example of how we can actually destroy ourselves.
I agree with that.
100%.
Yeah,
and voluntarily so.
Yeah, that's wild, right?
I think a lot of people did it voluntarily. I think a lot of people didn't even know that they were complying in ways that gave up rights that they didn't even know that they might have had.
Yeah.
So you went to vaccine. I was talking about the virus itself.
Well, not only vaccine, but lockdowns.
Yeah.
Man.
That's true.
A lot of what I saw.
Valid.
It's just 2 weeks, fucking 2 years into it. Oh, you can have 5 people in your restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
That's true. That's true.
So a lot of what I saw over that 2 to 3 year period still sticks with me today, and just trying to understand how the human psyche works. And I think that I've compartmentalized a lot of it to this point, but I'm afraid that a lot of people still haven't dealt with it.
Okay.
I think that's, like, you talk about things from like a therapeutic standpoint. I think there's a whole segment of the population that really has not come to terms with what happened over that time period. And you see that because with a lot of people, it's not an acceptable conversation to have.
That's true. That's valid.
I brought it up with certain people, and it's just like they just go into a box.
You out.
Yeah, I have people around me, same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that I just have a lot of opinions.
Yeah. So it's rather pent up, right?
What do you mean?
It's like the subject of COVID is rather pent up.
Yeah.
In society right now, it's not
being had.
No, it's not being had.
It was had to everybody's exhaustion. And then everybody got tired of it and wanted to put it in the past. But there was a lot that happened during that time period that we need to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot that needs to be taught, and a lot that needs to come to light, that needs to be admitted. And usually when I hear what you're saying is like guilty people are the ones that typically don't want to communicate about.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, by nature, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Guilty people don't want to talk by nature.
I've said what I said. That's the truth. That's enough. We're not talking about it anymore, right?
It feels like real truth there, what you're saying.
So, yeah, I mean, you want me to go into this?
Yeah, go.
Okay. So the technology that they use to make the vaccine, I don't have a problem with.
Okay.
Personally, I took 2 vaccines and a booster myself.
So you're talking about the mRNA?
Yes. The mRNA
technology.
Now, you probably know more about it than I do.
Yeah.
But
I
looked into it.
Wait. Let's not get down this. Why did you take those?
Why? That's a hard question to answer because
you can say because your job made you.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't force my hand, but they gave me 2 options, and I didn't like the other option. And it didn't involve losing my job, but the other option required accommodations that I didn't want to do.
Kind of force your hand.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
in a sense
part of the stuff that needs to be
talked
about right now.
When the vaccines came out, I championed the vaccines. Like the best I understood about mRNA technology.
Yeah, and that's kind of But my problem was not. So this is where I fall in a very, very thin line.
Right.
As I really have a hard time believing that some of what people attribute to the vaccine is actually because of the vaccine. But that's a rabbit hole.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I looked at it. I trusted it. I felt the technology was relatively. I could make sense of it and I could understand it, so I accepted it. But to force people's hands, or to put them in a box and say that you must do this, or your employment is on the line, or you have to follow X, Y, and Z. If you don't do it, all with months of research on the actual vaccine, the actual disease itself, whatever you want to call it.
So
virus itself.
My 14-year-old daughter would
we didn't know that much about it.
There were elements that were sus.
Say again.
There were elements that were sus.
This is new speak.
Yeah, this is new age.
English, please.
Yeah. So the new word for suspicious is sus.
Sus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's no cap.
No cap.
No cap.
Yeah.
On God. I think that's one of the terms.
On God?
I don't know.
On God. That's truth. No cap means I'm not lying.
Yeah, you're not lying.
You're not lying. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm learning right now.
So there were elements that were kind of did
Sus.
not ring true, right?
A lot of
Sus.
elements.
It's the compulsion is what I really struggle with, because what they proved, and I don't care what your opinion is on the vaccine or COVID, but they proved that with the right story, you can get the masses
to fall in line
in a direction.
Yeah.
You know who else did that?
Nazi Germany.
Hitler.
Yeah.
Stalin.
Well, yeah. We could probably keep naming.
So
yeah, it's happened time and time again. It's like history just keeps repeating itself, right?
Yep.
That needs to be talked about.
Well, also what needs to be talked about is why the hell do we keep, and I didn't do it, but why do when I say we, I mean humans, why do we keep doing it? You would have thought after the Jews and Hitler, Stalin, name a freaking place in Asia.
Yeah, China.
This is a Jordan Peterson thing as well.
Why do we keep getting on the train?
Pol Pot, Cambodia. It's fear. That's what the narrative is. The whole narrative with COVID is fear.
I don't think,
always fear.
I don't think fear is the root. I think fear is the vehicle that they use.
And what the hell would be the root?
The root is power.
Desire for the cause.
Power.
Yeah.
Fear is just the vehicle that's used to.
Yeah,
but his question is, why do the masses keep falling in
getting
line?
on the train?
Why are we gullible?
Because
me, it's uncomfortable to think about these things
caused by fear.
We don't.
Yes.
As a large, as a stereotype, we do not like to process uncomfortable thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff requires admitting some uncomfortable truths that there are people in positions of power above us that have authority to pull strings and channels that are outside of our control and might even be blind to our...
Only because we allow it. Because COVID is no different than taxes, in my eyes.
The biggest...
We allow it.
The biggest culprit...
I see the claim you're making.
If all of us stop paying taxes, what are they going to do?
Yeah, but
if
all
none
of us are not going to stop paying taxes.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
But if all of us was to stop paying taxes,
we'd have no roads.
But
we'd have plenty of roads.
So this happened during the French Revolution.
I want to say what the revelation...
I'm saying is if we all come together and decide we're not taking a vaccination for anything, not COVID or anything.
Well, that's happening.
It's shutting it down.
Yeah, that's happening
if we
in Texas
all
right
decide we're not paying taxes no more, it's shutting it down.
That's not happening.
It's not. No, but
Yeah.
no, it would. But it would.
The revelation I want people to understand is it's like when you have the people in power that are saying what the problem is, the same people are saying what the solution is. That's the biggest red flag, right?
Well, and I think where we've gone,
Peterson thing.
I think where we've gone wrong is we're throwing around people, the people with power, really loosely, because the way that I think our forefathers.
What do you mean? We have a 78-year-old president running against
a
79-year-old.
That's where I'm getting at, is because I think our forefathers,
anyone under 80, 2024,
made this place. The people with power is us.
We don't but we don't recognize that.
No, and I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest fuck up of humans is we don't recognize that. We've let that go.
And I would have thought over time we'd recognize that more.
Exactly. That's my whole point.
but
Is why do we keep getting on the train?
Because it's fear and it's comfortability. Like we have to, we understand that if we are going to take that power, there's going to be a few of us that are we're goners. I mean,
yes,
yeah.
I think you're correct, but I think that's something we have to push past, and that's where you're coming into personal responsibility.
Yeah,
and realizing that like if you are not willing to break that cycle, it's going to continue.
Yeah,
technology exploits our weaknesses. It does. You can measure it in a lab. You can measure it, by just. I mean, honestly, it's easy to see in a lot of people say things online that they would never say to you in person.
So this is an aspect that technology would benefit us with, like you talked about earlier.
Yeah,
like we this hive mind aspect. This is the part where we benefit from technology, pointing out our weaknesses and
it's good for pointing out our weaknesses.
Come to terms with those,
but we have to be good at accepting. The results.
Yeah, and doing something about it.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to pull that mic. You need to.
But then you get into
getting you from the side.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Man.
Yeah, pull that.
Is that better?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I didn't realize there was a directional aspect.
It is.
Yep.
Okay, so
now you can back up a little bit.
There's an idea that's out there that I had this week. Okay. And so it's this idea. So think of osmotic potential.
I don't know what the word osmotic means.
Thank you. I was going to say, can you help out the two over here?
I know what the word potential means.
Okay, think of potential as in energy.
Yes.
Okay,
we're paying too much for it.
No.
Oh.
So a lot of people think of whenever I've described this to several people this week.
Potential requires an element of time. Sorry, just throwing that out there.
Valid, right? That's okay. Touche. Okay, so a lot of people, whenever I say the word potential, they think of the meaning as in like the potential of a person. They view potential like that. But what I'm talking about is like the
kinetic energy.
Yeah, kinetic energy, like the gradient that is produced to produce like movement in the world, right? Potential. So technology is, it seems as time goes on, we develop technology that has more potential. Okay. And what I'm referring to is in our problem space. Are you getting this?
I am.
Keith?
I'm following.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I'm sending a picture.
So we have a wide open problem space.
Multitasking, bro.
We have a current state and we have a goal state, right?
Yes.
And that's our problems. And so technology is getting better and better about helping us work towards our goal state, right? So AI.
What is our goal state? Because we don't all have the same
to
goal.
be happy.
But what is happiness if it depends on technology?
No, that's not the question.
I know mine does.
That's not the question.
I understand the question. I'm just trying to. Before I answer, I want to know what at least your orientation.
Yeah, valid.
So your orientation is happiness as our goal state.
I think that's our goal state.
You think that's the collective?
Yeah. So
human.
why has
but that's a big thing because everybody's goal state / happiness is way different.
Yep.
That's true, but in general, people want to work towards happiness.
So that we're coming back to Sam Harris here because this is a question of morality,
right? So we and hence social media, for instance, it's like social media came on board, and the speed at which social media happened was because of the technologic potential gradient.
Yep.
Right. So it porn. Okay, is an example of that. AI, and it seems that as time goes on, there's that word again, right? As time goes on, we're able to produce technologies that promise to fill that hole, which is happiness, better.
Yes.
So,
my rebuttal would be: how many of those technologies successfully fill that void?
I would say, as time goes on, we learn that they do not.
Agree.
What about living in perpetual happiness? That's not really conducive to a good life.
So this is what Jordan Peterson says is, yeah, you'll spend 3 days on the beach like drinking margaritas, but then what?
You've got to have the contrast. You've got to have some negative aspect to life, right?
So
You've got to have some sort of mission, some sort of quest.
Quest.
Yeah.
That's a good
word.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Thank you. I play a lot of video games.
Right.
RuneScape.
And then over time, maybe we're learning just that.
So
everybody really needs,
or relearning it.
Yeah.
That, you know, there's not a technologic solution to the problems of life or our happiness.
So it really comes down to, what are your core values?
Yeah, I think so. It's like, what are your principles?
Yep.
What are your core values?
And the problem is that if you rely on humanity to set core values for humanity, you're going to fail.
Right.
Because we don't all have the same core values.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe computers, as time goes on, will allow us to Sigma 6, right? To create better cars, but the better cars won't solve.
So let me ask you this,
right?
I'm going to pull my Christianity factor out here.
Okay, I like this. Yeah.
The core value of the New Testament Christian is to love one another. What is a better core value than that?
It's a good question. That's
what if you don't like people?
I would say that you have an internal problem that you need to address.
Okay.
But there are people that I don't like, so I get that.
Yeah, vegans are hard. They're hard to love.
But I mean, seriously, so if you're going to direct the entire morality of humanity, what is better than the core principle of loving one another?
Loving oneself.
I disagree.
Wow, this is interesting.
Because I think and you might be on something here, because how hard is it to love someone else if you don't love yourself already?
I think it's impossible.
It might be.
Yeah. So think of who wrote that song? Imagine all the people.
John Lennon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was promptly assassinated shortly thereafter.
Conspiracy?
No, I think it happened.
Okay, John Lennon or then Jack, what's his face? Like
Black.
Jack Black still Jack the Ripper?
No, the guy with the
in the box
ukulele.
Jack Johnson?
Yeah, Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
Did another version. That's great. I love that song. I love it, but I've also come to identify it as maybe loathsome.
Yes.
Right?
I agree.
Because it kind of promotes this like selflessness.
Yes. There's a right way to go about it.
A pathological selflessness.
Yeah, but let's go back to the question. What was the question on before you said love one another? What was the question?
The question was, okay, so love other people.
No, that was his answer.
He brought up loving oneself.
Loving oneself.
Right, but you said, you answered his question and you said, what better, whatever we were talking about.
Better way is there to direct humanity than simplifying it down to love one another?
Okay, so if let's just say we did, and let's just say everybody loved each other. What's that get us? Because I can love you and still think you're a fucking idiot.
I agree.
True.
I agree.
That's called
hard, tough love.
Yes.
Parenthood.
You're right. Yeah. Exactly right.
But you got to draw the line at some place, right?
Yeah.
Like, you molested my child. I do not love you.
Yeah. That's a hard topic.
I'm going to murder you in very violent fashion.
I'm going to wear your skin as a coat.
I hate to imagine what I would do. I think that's where my jiu-jitsu might come out. Mm-hmm. What I would do to somebody if they did that to my child.
Right.
But the
only... Yeah, so back to my question, though. Where does that get us as a society if everyone loved each other? What is that?
Is that not the essence of like tribalism?
Yeah, okay.
The reason that mankind has survived and succeeded?
Do we have a capacity to the amount of people that we can love?
Yes.
I would say that the answer to that is yes.
Well, I think that's going to fall back on of what's your version of love? What's your version of love?
Sacrifice.
That's what's weird.
So
sacrifice.
Everyone's version.
that's where I was going. Self-sacrifice.
Yep.
So they've done, to answer the question that was brought up a second ago, is that there's been studies that the human brain can only handle roughly 140.
That's agreed.
People.
Agreed. I had that number in my head.
Yeah.
There's
Right?
40 again.
Yeah.
140 people
42
is about what the human brain can handle as far as
Yeah.
mental modeling.
There's a reference there.
42.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
42.
Okay.
Sorry.
140.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
140.
So what is the core question we're trying to answer? Because
Yeah, okay,
different.
Why love everybody?
Why love everybody?
Yeah, what's that get us?
Or
What is
can
that?
we love everybody, or is there a limit
Yeah, is it
to
impossible?
So okay, it's a pipe dream, right? Because you've got there are a certain group of people that just want to see the world burn, right?
Yeah.
Are there?
Yeah,
Or they just want the
absolutely.
control.
Absolutely.
They want the control or the world burns.
There are absolutely people out there that would go to all.
Pathological.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
talk about them a lot.
3 to
Vegans, bro.
three-
Vegans.
3 to 4% of the entire society is psychopathic. That's a statistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can go with that.
2 to 3 people out of every 100 that you meet are psychopathic.
Damn,
Okay.
I met some psychopaths.
Yeah. That's right.
Right. But
Don't forget it.
but they're you're into like second and third orders of magnitude.
So the
Yeah.
yes, but the definition of psychopath is loosely defined as an over reliance on loving oneself.
What?
Okay.
Hold on. Back
Yeah,
that up.
Yes,
Say-
yes. I was
I
porn.
could
Say,
go-
say
I-
that again.
I can
Define
get behind
psychopath
that.
again.
Well,
please.
say that again. I was porn.
The definition of psychopath is loosely, and I don't have it in front of me right now, but it is loosely defined as an over reliance of loving oneself.
God, I'm not
So, okay,
100%
so narcissism?
psychopath then.
Narcissism.
Okay.
Same thing.
Well, are you and I talking about two separate sides?
We need to call your wife to verify
We are.
this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to meet you on the other side of the argument that you made.
Yeah. But are you and I talking about two separate sides of the Bell-Gaussian curve?
Hey, stay in front of that mic.
I don't know what
There
Bell-Gaussian
you go.
is.
So the Bell-Gaussian curve is
He
this.
does that a lot.
It's a
Throws
normal
out
curve.
words.
What you just described is a normal curve, which is what I wrote.
It looks like a bell,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
has got
that.
its name from.
That's-
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's look it up.
Google.
actually.
Bell-Gaussian.
Yeah.
So good.
We would just like to say how much we enjoy Colonel
put it on.
E.H.
Put it
Taylor
on the.
from
Put it
Buffalo,
on your. Bring it up.
I was
from
about to-
Buffalo Trace.
God
I was about to
almighty,
ask,
it's
what
so
do we
good.
do if we drink too much whiskey
That's
walk
in
impossible.
the
home.
middle of the podcast, and we need to release some of it?
Oh, we can pause.
I mean, we've been running for 2 hours, so it's
Yeah.
probably
getting
time for,
close. Yeah, we can, and then we can always bring you back to.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
we're
still
gonna
in a
have to.
drivable state.
Okay.
But
So there you go.
Bell-Gaussian. Let's come back from the break after I look up what Bell-Gaussian is.
Are we doing that?
how bad do you got to
What are we
pee?
doing?
I gotta go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's break.
Okay, we'll let it run and I'll trim it out because this has got to line up together.
Okay,
so
okay.
Stop it. So
All right.
just let
I
it
like
run.
it. Let's go.
We'll be back.
Face.
All right.
He does have a.
Do we need a 1, 2, 3 here?
No,
or-
we're
we're
just rolling.
we're going?
He'll-
Okay.
He'll snip it.
All right. Cool.
So we've looked up. We're back from the potty break, and we've looked up. What were we looking up here?
Bell-Gaussian curve.
Yeah.
Bell-Gaussian.
So Doc handed me his phone, and I'm reading
Dangerous.
what a Gaussian bell curve is. And to me, that just looks like a normal curve, which I was describing earlier. But I'm trying
Agreed.
to figure out if there's something unique about it, because I think now that I read this, Gaussian actually sounds like a word that I'm familiar with vaguely.
It's used
So it
in
might have
photo
been-
editing too. There's the Gaussian blur.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it works on the same principle.
So I think a Gaussian curve is basically a normal curve. That's
Yeah.
what I'm reading right here is exactly what I was describing earlier, a normal
Awesome.
curve. I just forgot the word Gaussian.
Yeah.
I probably learned it 18 years ago in school or something.
So what brought that up was I was in a sense proposing that you and I were talking about two separate ends of that curve.
yes.
Loving
yes.
yourself and loving
Right, just
everybody
yelled
else.
into the mic.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
happens.
That, it's
So
like,
say that again. You and him were talking about what again? Say it. Say it.
so I was talking about maybe the left part of the curve,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
right? And he's talking about the right part of the curve.
Yes.
And
The opposite sides of the far end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And in the middle, like the people, the mass of people in the middle should both love themselves and love other people.
Yes, there's a dynamic there that
Yeah.
interplays where properly loving yourself and properly loving other people play off of each other.
Yeah.
But what the internet and what technology has done is it has allowed us as a society to overly and easily indulge in ourselves and overlove ourselves. We as a society do not have a problem with loving ourselves. We have a problem with loving ourselves a lot more than we love other people.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's I firmly believe that.
And I think
that's pretty
it's funny
valid.
because whenever yes, it's valid. It's definitely valid. And then as you say that, I also have the thought process of like lose ourselves. So if you could re-say that and put the word lose in for love, then that's what I see as well. Is the new technologies, the internet has given us increased capacity to lose ourselves.
Yes, and we're only going to see. Go ahead.
VR.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I dabble in all of these.
Right.
Right. But I think they're true.
I think a significant portion of our population is going to literally lose their mind to the virtual world once we get to a point where you can provide command prompts to VR goggles
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
that
We're kind
create
of
a
there.
reality that
Yeah.
doesn't
Is that
exist.
just really not a continuance of narcissism and
It is.
psychopathy?
It is.
Like,
It is.
I don't want to deal with real people anymore. I don't want to deal with the real
Oh
world
yeah,
anymore.
totally.
I'm just going to indulge myself 24/7 in this virtual environment that I can control every aspect of.
Yes.
So
I
yeah.
absolutely.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a hard
crazy.
topic.
It's crazy
That's a
how,
hard topic
how
to talk
all
about.
the movies that we watched are actually coming true.
iRobot.
yeah,
iRobot
that's
and
always been
what's
said.
the-
Like science fiction always predicts science reality.
Yeah. So I
Ready Player One. I mean,
Great book.
great
Yeah.
book.
Great
not,
book.
Not so much on the movie.
I've seen
okay.
the movie, not the book.
So I don't feel like a
Oh.
conversation like this could ever begin to be complete until we level on ideals, principles, values.
Hold on.
And that is exactly what Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson debate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to get into that subject, dive into some of the debates that they've had.
Agreed.
It's
Agreed.
So what about
the last one being
relatively
very-
calm and
and actually-
agreeable.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's interesting. They've gone from a place of really not liking each other and being at very opposite ends of the spectrum to boiling it down to a limited area where they disagree.
amazing how conversations make that happen, allow that to happen.
Yep.
But I'm going to continue on your path of narcissism and the evolution of a virtual environment. What about if you're in the situation of a dystopian era or location, and there is no good, there is no happiness, there is no love. You're in your
Like current
your
reality?
environment is bleak. There's no green, there's no blue.
You talking
sky.
about like North Korea,
Yeah.
Something like that. Like
Yeah.
where the people have to turn their poop into the government every year so that they don't get put in prison?
yeah,
Like
something
that
something
kinda-
like that.
okay.
Okay, so is virtual reality a valid place? Is there a valid placement for virtual reality there for these people to escape
Oh,
and have some joy?
No doubt.
I guarantee that Kim Jong-un would love to give all of those people goggles so that they
State
wouldn't
sponsored.
fight back. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Um,
But okay, so there's the part of my question
That's
is
that- yeah,
is
okay.
virtual reality
Good.
doing a disservice by distracting you and keeping you in this state of mind versus like, fuck it, I've had enough. We're about to team up and we're about to overthrow this son of a bitch.
What drug do you need to make you okay with continuing to run on the hamster wheel?
Whatever
S-
keeps you
S-
comfortable.
Yeah.
Can you finish that for me?
SSRI.
SSRIs.
Yep. Yeah. I
Bum,
mean,
bum,
maybe
bum.
or Adderall. It's like Adderall.
Yeah, I mean, we're pumping a significant portion of the population with
True
drugs that
story.
prohibit their ability to think.
Yeah, or prohibit their ability to just not be okay with what's happening.
So,
Prohibit their ability to deal with what's happening, in my opinion.
Okay, wow. Yeah, true.
So-
I could get along with that.
Dr. Fagley, tell
Yeah.
us what SSRI means.
Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
Okay, so what does that do? What is the physiological effect?
We don't
of
actually
that?
know. We do not know.
Okay.
Yeah. So and to that point, I point to chapter 13 of Sapolsky's work, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, right? Specifically. And anybody, well, I don't know, right? It's a difficult chapter, but basically he conveys, and I think it's true, he conveys, we don't actually know how SSRIs work, right?
Sounds like artificial intelligence.
Yeah. But what is true is, okay, you have an unhappy, depressed.
I guess that's a better question. What do they
Anxious.
do?
Right.
Yeah.
So you have an unhappy, depressed, anxious patient, and you start this class of medicines, and they fill out a form, and which says how unhappy, depressed, or anxious they are, and then you start this medicine, and then in a few weeks you give them the same form, or a few months, or a few years, and then that form tells you that they're less depressed, anxious, or unhappy, right? So yeah, that's what they do.
Okay.
They fix a form, and they might actually create less depressed, anxious, unhappy people. Unfortunately, what happens is depressed, anxious, unhappy people might tend to shift and change society, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
I feel like that's kind of relevant to.
I mean, but we don't think. Yeah, are we treating society or are we treating people?
Oh, I don't know.
Where does the line fall?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. It's really tough. Yeah.
I think that you bring up a lot of good points. I don't know how SSRIs are whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know how
basically
they
they take away the receptors that are responsible for taking away the serotonin,
Okay.
which is the happy chemical,
Okay.
right? And so that's what they do at
So
the
it
granular level.
It impacts the neurochemical reward system.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's a deep dark hole, man. Yeah,
That's a void.
yeah,
I don't know how many of these we're going to be able to tackle today.
I know, right?
I'm loving it though. I'm having a good time.
So we were out there taking a leak in the yard, and we were talking about like we need to like unpack this episode, digest it, and then come back to further
Talk about it
because
later.
man, we've had some really interesting and expansive, which I knew we would.
Yeah, we really have.
Right.
I want to cover one more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you flipping
Yeah,
through?
Well, there's a couple like personal things that I want to share, but let's go down your route first.
Okay. I mean, it may be better served for another time. I just want to get into vehicle, like future
Yes.
powertrains. Is that
I
what
think
you're
we bring
flipping
up
to?
everything we want to.
Yeah.
And then we further
I
unpack
don't know
it.
how to segue from what we've been talking about back
To vehicles.
Yeah. Is that what you're? Is that what you're?
Yeah, I
hoping
just
for?
flipped to mine.
Okay.
So when Heath got the text from Chad at our fantastic Chief Cigar Lounge,
which we'll be playing poker at tomorrow
we
night.
will be.
Yeah.
I was there last night for the first time. Great establishment.
Yeah.
Both of Ezra as well.
Yeah,
I
they're
just
great.
I'm-
They're
I'm-
both great.
I'm glad to see that we're getting
Yeah.
this type of, and then also the was it the county
County seat?
as well.
Another
Just
one.
like a lot of development in the industry, as you will. But no, it's great. So I was there last night taking these notes that he texted you about.
Yeah.
So you asked me, Chance, when we first talked about me being on this podcast. One of the first conversations we had was about electric vehicles versus fuel cell
hydrogen
technology.
specifically.
Yeah, but fuel cell is hydrogen technology.
So I mean, the starting point would be, I guess, for anything to get adapted in is like the commercial industry has got to adopt it first, right? Like before it becomes mainstream.
Yeah,
No.
I would.
I'm going to say no.
Really? Yeah. Okay. I would say yes, but
I would say that
but I
mainstream
question
is the
my
word
stance based off of your like
mainstream is the word here, right? So
Yeah,
I would
okay.
say amongst the society that I live within in a daily basis, the people that I talk to, it's already understood that hydrogen fuel cell technology is the way of the future.
Okay.
It's not a
Okay.
debate. It's an established fact that we all understand that is
Really?
Yeah, it's not.
And so electric is not the end all be all.
No, electric's
No.
a fad.
I think I'm wrong.
That's a bold statement then.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean-
I'm wrong in the definition of commercial. So by commercial, I meant business interest.
No, I'm talking about
personal.
planes, trains,
Automobiles?
trucks. Planes, trains, and the best movie ever.
I-
Trucks, transportation, moving goods and services over people. Basically,
I'm talking about vehicles that drive on the road. When you start talking about planes, I really, really see a hydrogen technology certainly is a possibility. I don't see an electric plane. I just the mechanics of how that energy has to be transformed from battery to
I don't think it'll
propulsion.
happen.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to happen.
So on the scale of time, how long before hydrogen is mainstream with, I guess,
By the end of the decade.
No shit.
Holy shit.
So, okay, the big
Wow.
argument against hydrogen is it takes a massive amount of electricity to produce. So you're in the same constraints that you are with battery electric vehicles, which are already out there and coming mainstream. How do you produce the electricity, A, to charge, 500 million battery cells in these electric battery vehicles, or how do you produce the amount of electricity it takes to produce hydrogen?
A lot of questions there.
Yeah.
So let me maybe first break down how a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle works, because there's probably a lot of people that don't know.
Okay.
So and then so save your question.
I will.
Let me explain how it works, and then we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Because I did do a lot of
He's got notes
research
in front
on
of
this.
him.
Yeah,
A prepared guest. This one is.
Okay, so a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle chemically fuses oxygen from atmospheric air, and turns it into water, utilizing a hydrogen molecule as the catalyst, or not catalyst, that's the wrong word, as the ingredient in the mix to spark the chemical reaction that byproducts water.
This is happening and it's a hydrogen powered engine, correct?
Correct. So
Looks just like a normal gas or diesel motor.
no, it's going to look a little different. Your mechanics are not going to be quite the same. I'm going to be honest, I don't know down to the nitty gritty exactly how all of the parts work.
Yeah.
But I know how the system
But
works.
the process you just described is taking place within this engine.
Yes.
Okay.
So in a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle, what you have is you have an anode, which is a negatively charged I don't know what the right word is.
Terminal.
Terminal. Yeah. And then you have a catalyst, which promotes a chemical reaction, and then you have a cathode, which is a positively charged terminal.
Yeah.
And so what happens in a hydrogen combustion engine is that you have a fuel tank of hydrogen, which passes into the anode, and then you pass oxygen over in the catalyst, and the catalyst is typically platinum. I looked that up.
Okay.
And what it does is it takes the hydrogen molecule, which is actually an H2 molecule, which means you have two hydrogen molecules electrically conjoined together. So two if you don't know what a hydrogen molecule is, it is the most basic compound on the periodic table. It is a single proton and a single electron.
Okay.
It
H2.
There's
Two hydrogen molecules.
exactly.
Yep.
So you've got two protons, two electrons.
Yep.
The process of passing the hydrogen molecule through the anode, the catalyst, and the cathode breaks the hydrogen molecule from an H2 into 2 hydrogen ions.
Yep.
And an ion means that it has a charge.
Yep.
And in this case, it's a positive charge. So it takes the electron. So it's basically you have 2 protons, 2 electrons, and it's splitting. The protons split apart, but they stay up here, and the electrons split apart, and they stay down here. And you take the electron.
Thereby creating a battery.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you get energy at that point. You have free electrons.
Yeah. You create potential. You create electric potential.
Yes.
Right.
You create the potential. You create the potential to react.
Yes.
So what happens with the 2 hydrogen positively charged ions is that they pass through oxygen at that point, and they react with the oxygen to create water, and then that just comes out.
That's the discharge. Yeah.
That's the discharge.
That's the emission.
Which is the purest water you could drink.
It's distilled.
Yeah, it is distilled water. Okay, now here's the other caveat that I've read about. Okay, so you kind of glossed over the fact that you still have to produce the hydrogen.
Yeah, you have to have hydrogen tanks,
which takes apparently massive amounts of energy.
That's the hard part right now.
To remove the water or the oxygen molecule from the hydrogen molecule, right?
So right now the technology is not quite there to mass produce hydrogen. But one thing to remember is that hydrogen is the most abundant chemical in the solar system.
But it is also the most explosive.
No,
we just went a very different direction, but
okay,
it is very explosive. Yes.
Okay, so that's two other caveats. Then one, okay, your exhaust emission now is just water.
Yeah.
And oxygen.
Okay, but still, your water droplets are leaving your tailpipe.
Yes.
And dispensing on the highway.
Yes.
The concern is now in cold climates. What happens to your roadways and everybody traveling on those if you have...
I don't think it's that much water.
Really? So it evaporates quickly. But if you have, if you've got 1 million vehicles on an interstate in a 5-hour period...
You're talking a few drops a mile.
I really don't think it's that much. I'll look it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. That was one of the proposed caveats is like you're going to end up with frozen roadways, which may not happen as global warming continues on its path and the Doomsday Glacier falls in because it doesn't have a curtain or a blanket and
yeah. So the question is how to produce a hydrogen.
I guess it's still in its infant stages, according to him. Technology will change as well as it will with battery electric vehicles. Like battery technology is also going to change.
I wrote that one down. I don't know the answer to that one, so it's bothering me.
And then the other elephant in the room is the explosivity of hydrogen.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why it has so much potential.
But potential is great. Car wrecks are another thing.
Yeah, but AI is going to fix that.
No, you're hitting on a valid point, and I don't feel that I know enough to answer your question on that one. And so like that's kind of because we're starting to talk about a safety concern.
Yeah,
I don't want to speak out of turn.
Okay.
Because I really don't know what the preventative measures that are being used.
So you
right
have
now.
a 5-car pileup that are all hydrogen powered vehicles. Well, now you have a half-mile crater.
Yeah, at the same time, I will speak out of turn.
Okay.
Right? My hope is that my hope is that this AI is being developed at the same time, that whenever hydrogen cars come online, that they will largely be driving themselves and they will be experiencing accidents at a sigma 6 less rate.
Until there's a glitch.
Yep. Right.
Well, I mean,
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Redundancy.
The good thing about it is it's just an instantaneous death. You don't have to worry about maimment and dismemberment. You're just, hey, I'm driving, poof, gone.
Woo! I mean, you hear all the people talking about like the Tesla explosions.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Right? But whenever one happens, it gets talked about. It's actually not very common.
It's not very common, but it's unfortunate because the fire departments, and I've spoken with firefighters that are like, we just sit and watch them burn.
Yeah, exactly.
So every bit of pollutants.
Not saying they're not bad or severe.
But it's the thing about, well, I'm driving a Tesla because I'm not emitting things into the atmosphere. Well, your car just fucking burned down, and you just put a volcano's worth of emissions into the atmosphere of your battery.
So you guys are describing a lot of the conversations that design engineers have in the early development phase of a product and determining what could go wrong.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the guardrails that we set up when we initiate a product consider what you're talking about. And so when we're talking about, what is going to be the, say, thickness of the hydrogen cell container, the material, right? We're going to beef that up because of exactly what you're talking about. We're going to do mitigating factors. We're going to consider what is the force of a crash, and we're going to put that into a 3D CAD system and calculate what do we need to create the strength of this container to be so that it does not, like it is the black box of the airplane that does not explode in a crash.
Yeah. Okay.
We have to consider those things.
Sure.
I'm speaking out of turn here because I don't really know.
No, there is no speaking out of turn.
I don't
We've established that.
I really don't think you are. Yeah.
I don't know all the ins and outs of this part of the hydrogen system.
Okay.
And I'm also not involved in an actual development project.
So it sounds like, though, that the cost of cars are not going down anytime soon.
Bingo.
Okay.
Yeah, but not your Hyundai. Your old Hyundai.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're not. Cost of cars are going up.
Let me approach this from another angle then. Like the advocates of electrification of vehicles or battery electrics.
They don't know what they're talking about.
No, they do.
No, I don't think they do.
You drive one, don't you?
Yeah.
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 Well, let me tell you what. I'm approaching it from another angle.
Oh, okay.
Let me come in from this angle. Let me come on. Let me do it. The angle is you have a 16th less of moving parts.
Yes.
It's a simplification
That's
of
a
a
valid
drivetrain.
Yes.
And it appeals to a lot of people. It may appeal to a lot of commercial level situations where you don't have to pay the maintenance prices. When you have hydrogen-powered vehicles, you still have all the amount of moving parts and failure points that you have with an internal combustion motor.
Yeah, but you lose the corrosiveness of the byproduct.
Unless battery recycling technology, which it will.
Will it?
It's
Will
got.
it?
Yeah,
Will it?
Yeah.
So
I'm not sold on that.
Yeah, it's like one thing, the wear and tear, part of the wear and tear in fossil fuel powered vehicles is the byproduct of the fossil fuel.
The heat generated.
The heat, the grease, the black gunk.
Yeah.
You look in your engine compartment and you're like, black gunk.
Even if you isolate the heat, you still have moving components with bearings, and they're going to fail at some point.
Yeah, true
lubrication will fail at some point.
So I want to comment and clarify one thing. So when I said that electric vehicles are a fad, I do not mean that they're going to cease to exist by any means. I think they're here to stay.
Yeah.
I think that so not so much industry, but more cultural and belief around electric vehools.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that believe that
Virtue
electric vehicles are going to
signaling.
be, it's virtual signaling, but it's also just a lack of understanding of the physics.
Yeah.
That electric vehicles are going to be the end all be all. And they're not, because there's limiting factors with distance. There's limiting factors with carrying capacity.
Supply chain.
There's disposal of batteries is a serious problem. The only thing that I have conceptually thought of about how we're going to deal with it is to inject them into space.
Yeah.
Yeah, true story.
Because
Me too.
you might be able to recycle it once. You might be able to recycle it twice. You might be able to recycle it 3 times. There's going to come a point where you can't recycle it
It's
anymore.
the end of its life cycle.
And it's going to be a hazard.
And they're heavy, so
They're heavy too.
ejecting into space isn't necessarily great.
It's not a great long term. We've got to be able to contain it.
Yeah.
And so there has to be another alternative.
Yeah.
Electric vehicles are great for short route application.
Amen. I agree with that 100%.
Yep.
I'm still a fan of it though, even though the batteries are dirty. I still like it because
it's progress.
I love internal combustion too. Don't get me wrong. I'm a gearhead. I love fast car. I love diesels. I love what diesel has done for the planet, and it's part of the Industrial Revolution, but it's made everything accessible.
I'm looking up a fact real quick, y'all.
And I'm interested in this, but I love electric because of the simplification of the drivetrain.
Yeah. Man, it's a tough problem.
Yeah. But fun to think about.
So
Yeah.
Okay. So an electric vehicle on average is about 85 to 90% efficient. Versus combustion engines are more in the ballpark of 25 to 30%.
Okay.
A hydrogen fuel technology vehicle is theorized to be in the ballpark of 40 to 60%. So
Interesting.
an electric vehicle is more efficient than a hydrogen vehicle, which is more efficient than an internal combustion vehicle.
But they're not factoring in recyclability when it comes to efficiency. So eventually something ends up in
so it lacks in sustainability. Right? So what you're saying is electric vehicles are not sustainable.
Well, okay,
as a technology.
with an internal combustion and hydrogen powered vehicle, it's damn near 100% recyclable, right? You can melt down the steel, you can melt down the plastic, and turn it into a new vehicle. With a battery powered car,
maybe not the plastic.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, possibilities that yes, you could, but that battery ends up having a lifespan no matter how many times you recycle, and it ends up in a landfill eventually, right?
Do you know that on the plastic scale, so when you look at a plastic container, it's got a number?
Yep.
1 through 7. Do you know that only 3 of the 7 numbers are actually recyclable? Yeah.
Wow.
The other 4 go into landfill.
I'm on board with 100. I'm 100% on board with banning plastic grocery bags.
Sorry, that was
just fucking get rid of them.
Throw us off.
They can't recycle them. Anyways,
I think you're right.
But So you have it's just like the fucking windmills. Yeah, they look great. They're powered by the wind, but they've got a lifespan, and their lifespan ends up with those blades in the middle of a burial pit.
Well, my camera bit the dust. There is a company now that's doing something where they're chipping them up and remaking something with them.
Yeah, but they're not making new blades with them.
No,
they're not making. They're going to some other use, but they're not making new blades. So they don't have an endless cycle. Whereas
but yet, I think the
combustion
keyword there is yet. We don't have it yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, yes, 10 years ago, they were strictly going straight to underground.
It only matters how much money they can make off of it.
Yes.
We get to that point. Same with battery recycling. Like, maybe there's an industry, but it's got to be an industry by reward. It's only going to happen if, we can make X amount of.
That's where I'm going to do podcasts from
Hey, buddy.
So get on your camera.
It's only going to work out if they can make X amount of profit off of it, right?
I think that's 100% correct.
The world runs on money.
Yes, absolutely. And if you deny that, you're a fool.
I mean, what else would it run on?
Government.
I mean, government runs on money.
They're the end all be all. They solve all of our problems, don't you know? Government is here to help.
Something my dad.
We are here to help.
I mean,
get on the train.
I can only hope we are entering a new era.
I'm excited. I am excited.
Yeah.
Why do you think we are?
Well, I can only hope. Okay, so we're being instructed by the media that the world is not waking up, but that doesn't match with the reality.
No, we're woke, bro. We have done woken.
No, I know this, but the conversations I have with people around me, and maybe it's just the bubble effect, is that in general, people are thinking about things a little more post-COVID, for one. But as time goes on, we're becoming wise to the machinations of our government.
Yes. So if you think we're going to a new era, so what's your feelings on the old saying, it's going to get worse before it gets better?
100% true.
Yeah, but who knows the hell? What is the bottom of the bottom? Maybe we're that right now, or maybe it's already happened.
Are we going through the worst part before?
I hope so.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Me too.
I really do too.
I really hope so.
It's like, okay, so the worst possible place right now is probably North Korea.
Yeah, but then that's my question, is because if you think about where we're at in our state.
Oh, we got it glorious.
I love your facial expressions right now, Chance.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
I drove here in my Telsa.
Yeah. Exactly.
We got it great.
So how if you believe in that saying of it's going to get worse before it gets better?
I don't believe,
because we have it pretty easy. As much shit as we bitch about, but we have it pretty easy. And if you compare us to everywhere else,
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe that.
How do you know North Korea?
You don't.
Have you seen North Korea with your own eyes?
That's
How do you
true.
know it exists, bro?
I haven't. I don't. It might not. Yeah.
Right.
You don't believe what now? I'm sorry.
That it's going to necessarily get worse.
Before it gets-
besides the fact that we don't like have a definition for worse other than North Korea, right? But besides that, I don't necessarily believe it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Okay.
I think we got some big problems to figure out. There's no doubt.
But then again, are they problems or are they part of our quest?
They're part of our quest.
Current
Well, I
era?
kinda
Part
like
of-
food.
part of
Yeah.
our mission.
So
Yes.
this
I
is,
don't mean to do nothing, but I kind of like this. We can put this camera.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Dude, well, you can't even see what the hell I'm looking
We
at.
can
huh?
point your camera to the screen.
To the screen.
you have
yeah.
Yeah.
do you have like a box of all four of us, or
No, it's just me and Chance though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I'm underneath his boom here.
Yeah, you can see it right here.
that's what
Oh, you can see it. Yeah.
that's what you need is like a 4 box camera where you got all 4 of us on the screen at the same time, so that he
Dude, that
doesn't have
would
to
be
sit
cool.
there.
Yeah,
and hit the
you
button.
should
Yeah.
totally buy us one of those.
Yeah,
I
that'd
don't
be
know
great,
how that
Zach.
works.
Yeah.
Pony it up.
I don't know how that works.
We started this bullshit with these cameras. We're like, well, we'll get
Zero
one.
camera. Yeah.
A 360 degree that's cheap, and then
Yeah.
it's like we don't really care what we look like, and then it's like, oh shit, the lighting's bad over here. The colors.
No,
Yeah,
I
we gotta
actually
move
changed
over
shirts
here.
before I came.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The color temperature is bad over. This camera's not the same.
But
Yeah.
this is
So I'm an
is
engineer.
pretty
I like to
genius,
say
though.
things without knowing how much they cost.
Of course.
there's a department for that.
Uh-huh.
Anyways,
I think that's a good place to wrap it up. We're almost fucking 3
Almost
hours in
3
on
hours
this one.
in. Yeah.
Dude, we're gonna have you back
Can I-
on.
For
Yeah, we
sure.
have to because
Soon.
we didn't even cover like a third of the notes.
yeah.
Oh gosh,
my-
I think we opened up discussion that's going to take
Pandora's
time
box. Yeah.
to really flesh out.
Yeah,
Your
can
wife's
I
got a podcast, right?
She does have a
Oh,
podcast,
yeah.
and that's what, my wife's gonna slap my wrist if I don't at least tell a little bit about.
All right. So we'll see you guys later.
We like slapping. Tell her to come slap all of us.
slapping
So-
sounds.
It's a little sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more about my background. So, and also I tried to start off by, like, my intent was to start this podcast by telling you guys how much I've enjoyed the elected officials segments.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thanks.
And so I've listened to JD
Clark.
JD Clark, Mayor Amanda, Commissioner Kevin Burns, and then Eddie Allen and Dr. Lynn Stuckey.
Nice.
I have not listened to the sheriff or the constable yet.
You should
Oh, that
listen
sheriff
to
is
both of
great.
those.
Yeah, I'm
Those are
going-
both of them. Actually,
Dude,
they're both
the
great.
constable one was pretty goddamn good. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, but
Yeah.
you need to listen to both
No,
of those.
I will. But I mean, just how much I've learned about our local
Yeah.
government and our budget, and the history that JD shared about the
Yeah.
town center and
Thanks,
the
man.
and, yeah,
Yeah.
it's been great.
That means a
As I said-
lot to hear that feedback, and we've heard so much good
So
positive
much, I
feedback.
know.
And we went into that, in a total unsure
Yeah.
mindset of like, okay, how do we talk with these people without getting into political debates? And
Right.
and they ended up being like wonderfully dynamic, uplifting conversations, and really exposing how much these people do a lot of work.
Yeah.
and
Yep.
fucking
Yeah.
lots of good work.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's been very eye opening, and also just reassuring to know that there's good people in those positions, and people that have a normal personality.
Amen.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that's been really nice.
Yeah, very realistic, level-headed, able to problem solve people of the community.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So one other thing that I just wanted to mention, because I did, my wife actually asked me to share some of this, and so I was going to start off before we got derailed multiple times. I was going to start off with just kind of describing what my history is in Wise County, and so I'll try to keep this to like 10 minutes,
Okay.
and then we can wrap up.
Yeah, screw it. If it goes on, it goes on. Yeah.
Now, all of our cameras are about to shut off.
Yeah. We moved to Wise County in 2018. We lived in a house in Bridgeport. We lived there for 4 years, and in that time, my wife actually got some medical diagnoses, which I'd like to come back and talk to Doc more about.
I like that.
But she, let me give you a little taste. So POTS, which
Yep.
by the way,
That's a big subject.
Mayor Amanda talked about her daughter.
Yep.
Yep. So my wife has that diagnosis. She also has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
This is a big, wide open subject.
It is.
I would love
I
to
know.
open it.
I know.
Yeah.
We're not going to get to it today, but mast cell
Yeah.
Anemia, I think is the word.
So all these are connecting.
Yeah.
Yep.
May-Thurner syndrome. You heard of that one?
Yep.
Cerebral fluid leak.
Yep.
And then Nutcracker syndrome.
Good God.
I've heard of that. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I think every dude that's married has that.
Nutcracker syndrome.
Nuts gone syndrome.
And probably the biggest one is hereditary angioedema.
Okay. So this is potentially worth its own podcast.
Mhm.
Yeah, we could go down a medical diagnosis route.
Oh, and I have some like theories about those.
I would love to hear them.
that, you know, are not medicine 2.0, right? So
More
we're
Eastern.
they're more medicine 3.0.
Oh, where we're going? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's not where we've been, it's where we're going.
Okay, yeah.
Or our new understanding.
I would love to hear those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your wife does have her own podcast.
She does.
Is her podcast content related to what you just told us
It,
about?
it is, yeah.
Okay.
So she runs a business called Anchored in Hope Company and Community, where she makes hand crocheted and knitted items. Basically, lots of things that she can just do with her sewing machine or by hand crocheting herself. Blankets, pot holders, a lot of same things that Mayor Amanda talked about last week.
Yeah.
But she does headbands. That's one of her biggest things, is she makes headbands.
Okay.
And so that's kind of her way of. She's a stay-at-home mom, but making a little extra money on the side by selling handmade items. So, yeah.
So I'll use this juncture that to say that Amanda's soap
It's
is
the bomb.
amazing.
Yeah.
Is it?
It is literally
It
the
was.
bomb.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's very cleansing.
Yeah, I told her.
It gets the
Yeah.
it gets the job done.
I
talking
can't
about
believe
that.
how good that soap is.
So
Yeah.
your wife, I mean, this is we're always talking about locally sourced stuff. This is a great place to maybe get some gear that's not made in a fucking sweatshop in China or Thailand or wherever.
Yeah, valid.
So where would they find this type of merchandise? I'm gonna probably buy a fucking headband.
Yeah. Oh, there you
'Cause
go.
I sweat, a lot.
So she's got a website. I think it's Anchored and Hope Company and Community.com.
Okay.
But it's probably easier to find her on her Facebook page. And so I can send you maybe a link and you can put that in the show notes.
Yeah,
we'll put that in the show
absolutely.
notes. So same with a
Yeah.
podcast name too, Anchored in Hope.
Yes.
Search for that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's on Spotify. I think she's got about 5 or so episodes up right now.
Okay.
that's
she's
cool.
Yeah, she's wanting to get back. It's kind of just as she feels she needs to talk about something, she brings it
That's
up.
the great thing about podcasts is you're not really on a dedicated schedule.
Yeah.
Everything's
No.
leisurely, so the content's always
Well.
better. And
Maybe not us, but
Shit.
okay, if you're paying me $100 million for a sponsorship, I'm going to be on your schedule, buddy.
Yeah, valid.
What content do you need?
Yeah. Now there's a whole backstory.
We call that a whore.
I'm a whore.
yep.
Yeah.
For 100,000.
Bona fide whore. 100,000, 100 million, not 100,000, 100 million. I'm a whore. Here, let me say it louder.
I feel you.
I'm a whore.
I feel you.
W.
Not
Capital.
Hey, you know, that's a valid professional path.
I mean, we're all kind of whores, right? If we're all earning income, we're a whore for something.
I mean, we're slaves for sure.
Podcast name, Whores for Something.
yeah, I kind of like Four Fingers.
We'll get that.
King
Back to-
James Virgin.
Yeah.
I think that's the best.
We're
one.
going to have to spin a coin or something.
Spin a coin.
flip a coin.
There's a whole segment of stuff that I wanted to talk to you guys about that we'll have to get to on another day.
Damn, then save
Yeah,
it for
we
another
will.
time.
Yeah, for
don't
sure.
throw-
It's more about
don't-
myself, less about my delusions.
Yeah. Don't
No,
throw
I
away
don't
those
think they're
notes.
delusions.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
okay, so I have my own unique like rabbit hole read on reality, and it's nice to talk to somebody who also has their own, and even Heath
I think he's saying
and Chance.
fuck me and you. I think,
Yeah, basically.
I think
No,
that's
no.
exactly what
I'm
he's
just
trying
saying, like,
say
to
here.
come.
You mean
come
you differ
That's what
from
I
the
felt
mass?
like.
Yeah, to come together and compare our assessment.
Yeah.
right? And to say, okay, is this actually the case?
That is my fundamental criticism of artificial intelligence is it's going to create a unified society that you can't deviate from.
Yeah.
And right now what we're talking about
Jacques Ellul.
Yeah,
right there.
exactly.
Yeah.
But we are expressing our differences of opinions in a cordial way, but I really fear that we're heading towards a society where you can't where you cannot deviate
You
from
can't dissent at all.
Exactly. That's my biggest fear going forward.
That's I mean, that's kind of the cusp of 1984 written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's true.
But it didn't really predict an AI was going to be responsible for that. It was just government overlords.
So two AI things before we wrap up. Did you know that artificial intelligence has decoded Wi-Fi transmitters? Have you heard that?
I have not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so there's videos of this online.
We talked about it on here. Yes.
So artificial intelligence.
That's
was
probably
able
why
to,
Dog hasn't heard of it yet.
To decode.
Yeah.
Whatever gets said on this side of the table, he doesn't give a shit about.
So large language models were able to decode Wi-Fi such that it was able to create 3D renderings.
That's right.
Of humans.
You through your walls.
Through your walls. So that's one. Two. And this was talked about on Rogan. But
I hope my Wi-Fi wasn't looking at me on a cold day.
Cold day in July.
So
I hope my Wi-Fi was spying on me when I'm fresh.
Anything.
Yeah, when I'm fresh out the shower. A little helicopter in there for the Wi-Fi.
Steamy.
Yeah, privacy has gone out the window.
Yeah.
This is a little. I'm just trying to. How do I package this? So large language models. We were talking about those, and then we should be done after this. But
tell us what to do, bro.
Well, Chance said that we were out of time. Large language models were able to take a prompt from an Amazon service that says, I want you to predict what this user is going to buy next. That model created the world's best emotional structure of the human brain that we like. They compared it to models that have been created in a science lab of how the human brain processes emotions.
Model.
It created a model that was better than anything that had ever been created.
So if it can create a model
on its own,
it can live by that model as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, but people can exploit that model.
But isn't that what all Facebooks and all that's doing is basically because they're gathering information on, because at any point in time your Facebook feeds are putting out what it thinks you want, what your brain was wanting to see.
That's
so
true.
I mean, isn't that what all that stuff is doing basically?
Yeah, this is going to do it better.
Right.
But he's saying because of that, it put together a model, a brain.
On its own, without being prompted, and they call that an emergent property, and that's something we should save for next time.
Okay,
but emergent AI property.
Big
I had that down in the notes. There was an AI that they ended up having like hearings, congressional hearings about. The AI professed that it understood what its purpose was and everything, but it also feared death, and it understood that it could meet its demise at the hand of a man turning off a switch.
Wow.
As we all can.
I mean, where do you draw the line for self-consciousness?
Right there.
I mean,
right there.
that's
when the AI says it fears death, off.
Okay. So,
unplug the router.
So, but it's not AGI. Okay. So
what is AGI?
I know it's like we're creating something with what's the word? With semblance of intelligence, but it's not intelligence by the way we know intelligence to be,
which is comforting and frightening.
Yeah,
because what if it's a different type of intelligence that we don't understand?
Yeah, this is interesting
for another time.
Yes,
for another time. All right, thanks, Zach. We appreciate the talk,
dude. It was
awesome,
freaking amazing. Thank you.
I like to just go down the wormholes and
amen.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're all about. And we, you know, wrapped up. We made a believer out of the moon landing over here. Surely,
Well,
right?
I don't know if I'd say believer. I'd say what he's saying makes a little sense, but also they could have just been all recorded from a lab.
Could have been.
Yes.
I'll give you those videos do look a little wonky.
Yeah. Okay. With that,
Yep.
good night.
Thank you.
Adios.
Thank you, guys.
You've been listening to the Whiskey Bros Around the Table. Gracias por convivir con los hermanos Whiskey.